Hello and welcome to Roleplay Rejects, where we play new and unusual tabletop role-playing games. In Side Quest, we're taking a break from our longer stories to play just a few sessions of some very unique role-playing games out there. So sit back and enjoy.
Nice.
Welcome to
No.
Walkabout. Never mind. What's the opposite of welcome?
Fuck off.
Yeah, that's the
Yeah,
one.
I'll
Fuck
do
off.
it.
Be happy about it.
Welcome to praise about it. Praise be about it. Welcome to bees.
Bees knees.
No.
Bees
Bees!
nuts.
Got him.
No.
Got him.
No.
Welcome to nuts about it.
No.
Wow.
No.
It's crazy about a lot of things. Like Cookie Crisp. I
You
fucking
don't.
hate. Yeah.
I was like, don't lie to our listeners.
No, they know where I stand.
There were
On
samples
business.
for Fruit Loops at Costco the other day.
Hey,
And I
I'm
was
here
just
for
like,
it.
that's great.
Samples. Okay.
Samples, like, and I was like, Fruit Loops.
With
like,
no milk or with milk
I don't know. I didn't get one.
Hmm.
I was busy. I was on a mission.
That's wild.
at Costco.
Yeah.
You didn't.
That's not true.
You didn't factor in like an extra hour to graze. 'Cause that's what I do.
No.
You graze.
Unfortunately, I
I
did not.
graze.
I feel like we haven't gone to Costco in a long time.
I've
we
gone to
went like
Costco a
2
lot.
weeks ago.
It's not the
No.
same with you.
It's
Dude.
it's for Stevie and I.
Me and
It's a
Stevie.
different. It's genuinely a different experience.
Yeah, it is.
You know what I haven't seen cereal-wise, what I haven't seen in a while? Those
Frog.
like honeycomb
Yeah.
cereals.
Oh,
I really
do.
like
Yes.
honeycomb.
Really, really good.
They were right.
They were fantastic.
You know, I
They
had
were hands
really
down
mixed
the best
feelings
cereal
on?
out there.
Pops.
Pops are fun.
Sometimes
Pops are
I
good, too.
love those, and then sometimes I was like, but if they get stale, I was like, what the fuck is this?
Isn't that like a lot of things?
And you know what else I don't like?
What?
I don't know what they're called.
Yeah, I'll do it.
The bear honey ones.
Bear
the weird
honey
little
one.
Teddy
multi-meal. No.
Oh.
Cereal. Sorry, I didn't mean to be so aggressive.
No.
It's like honey. Bear honey.
Today's sponsor,
If you were a child,
Bear Honey.
you know. Bear honey.
I
Hold
was
on.
never a child, apparently.
Honey bear. Honey bear cereal. I don't know. We got the
Oh, is
honey
it golden?
smacks.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
I think I remember.
Something about that wasn't right.
Yeah.
I did not like honey. I don't like honey, I think.
Oh,
That's-
grow up.
Well, it's because
Sad.
they're a scam.
Because it's not real honey.
Yeah, I mean that
Mm,
is true.
yeah.
It's
That's
just
But I
corn
really,
syrup
like, pretty
with another
aggressively
name.
hated honey smacks. And
Oh.
I would try it every once in a while because, like, my older brother, cousin, whatever he is, that makes it sound. No, he's my cousin. I know what he is. He loved them. So we always had them. And so every once in a while, that'd be, like, the only, like, not gross cereal
That's wild.
in my mind. And then I was like, I tried it. And I was like, this is also a gross cereal. Every time.
Are they like
They also look
crunchy or
gross.
are they like puffy?
They're, like, puffy.
Okay, yeah. I think I'm picturing the right thing, but I think the Malto brand of it has like an alligator instead of a teddy bear.
Golden
right.
puffs.
Is it?
Are
I
the
thought it was a
malto meal.
frog. What has a frog?
Or maybe it's a
Um,
frog. It's
Honey
like
Smacks is a
green-
frog,
Okay.
Mm,
Okay.
Yeah.
I think. Or a front-facing alligator.
I'm pretty sure it's a frog.
Well, it was just like, it was questionable looking at the box. Stop.
Did you guys hear about honey?
Because, like,
The
look, it
browser
looks like it's
extension?
got more nose
Yeah,
than a
crazy.
frog should.
Yeah, that's what I was picturing. So maybe it's not the off-brand
Wait,
that
what's
does.
going on with that browser extension thing?
Oh,
Yeah.
get rid of it.
The way they work is pretty scummy.
Oh, yeah.
What is?
Honey.
Oh yeah,
It's these.
It's low-key crazy though. like
I don't
These
like those.
cereals.
I like honeygrams though.
Honeygrams.
Those
fuck.
make me so happy.
what they do to ODR is that like when you click on an affiliate link in like the if you open the inspect, you can look at your I think it's a cookie.
Mhm.
It gets set so that whoever the fuck's link you clicked, they get like whatever bonus, right? When you use honey, it changes that cookie to be theirs, even if they don't find you any savings. So it'll be as if you went through their code and like whoever you clicked on, they won't get any bonuses because it will change that token to not be theirs.
That is really scummy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
well, and it sucks too because there were tons of content creators who were like sponsored
Mhm.
by Honey, and then they were doing that on the back end. So like
They didn't get paid.
they were like losing tons and tons of money that should have been theirs for utilizing their platform to like advertise for Honey. Yeah, wild.
Yeah, some of the big like D&D YouTubers were talking about it
Mm-hmm.
like the past couple days, couple weeks.
Yeah, that's how I found out about it, and then I was like, "Ew,
And-
you suck."
For me,
Yeah.
it was just I was seeing too many people do like little sponsored segments about it, and I was like, yeah, this is probably wrong.
They also control
The weather,
not the weather,
the stock market,
not the stock,
the government.
the
The
discount codes.
celery stock market.
The discount codes. They don't
Animal Crossing.
they don't like scour the internet for all of them. They have like a predetermined list that they will give you to prevent you from actually getting the biggest discount code. Because
Yeah.
why would like companies want you to have the biggest discount code? So the companies that work with them, they get to like kind of decide how big the discount you get if you use Honey. That's why a lot of times the code is like Honey 10. Like all these companies then just start using those codes.
Mm.
So
Give
yeah.
them 10% off so they don't get
So they
the
don't
15.
find the exactly.
Yeah.
And they feel good about
Yeah.
getting something off.
Literally everyone's benefiting it except for you, and I guess anyone with an affiliate link.
Yeah.
So I guess also us.
Yeah, I only found out because I was on Twitter and I saw a clip of Markiplier, and they're like, he was right all along, because he was talking about how this was years ago. He was talking about,
Yeah, he called it a billion years ago.
he was like, there's like, what's the benefit to Honey? Like,
Mhm.
what is the benefit? There has to be some sort of benefit, but there's no visible benefit. Like, so I just
Yep.
don't trust it. They're everywhere.
They
He
have
just
to be
didn't
lying
trust
to
it.
you.
Like, there's got to be some catch to it that's not clear right now. And he was right, man.
Yeah, if
Honestly,
someone doesn't tell you how they're making money, they're lying to you somehow.
Speaking of
Yeah.
which, subscribe to our Patreon.
Yeah, we make money through Patreon.
Yeah, we will not steal your tokens.
Now you know.
Yeah, or
Ooh,
merch.
and the merch store.
Yeah.
We
Oh,
do have
yeah.
a pretty sweet merch store up right now, so
Mhm.
go check that out. Roleplayrejects.com.
Forward
Shop.
slash shop.
Yeah, when we were doing our solar panels, we had some other like third-party group that was helping us with the process, and that was one of the big questions that I had for them was how are you getting paid? And
Yup.
it was like for like working with specific solar installers,
Okay.
and I was like, okay, well, that's fine, whatever.
Right? We all got to get paid.
Yeah,
Just let us know
And-
how you're getting paid, and don't
and
screw
that's
us over.
fine. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Like
it's also
the
crazy that there
cereal.
isn't like a cyber law. I mean, it's not crazy because like the cyber world really is a wild west. But like, dude, just make like laws on technology. Like, how hard can it be? Like, I feel like you shouldn't be able to just change someone's tokens without their
Well,
permission.
the problem is you look at Congress and they're all,
Yeah,
you
true,
know,
true, true, true.
octogenarians,
Yeah,
80 years old or older.
it's just
Oh,
Yeah.
nice.
Yeah. Geriatric motherfuckers that are
They
same,
are.
same.
They're geriatric.
Yeah.
That's
I'm-
the fucking word.
No, it's true. It's just
I had a cat that was geriatric.
I can't wait to
And
be
it was
geriatric.
Jerry.
Yeah,
No,
dude,
her
I
name
was
was
waiting.
Callie. She lived to be like 19.
Oh, damn.
damn,
or
that's old
17.
probably.
Dude,
don't
I just got a character idea.
Speaking of character
Jerry.
ideas,
Jerry?
Jerry.
we are going to be playing through. It's not technically like a game, but we're gonna play through it because I think it's really cool. It is called the Session Zero System. It is designed by Elise Resendez, and it is published by Mythic Grove Productions. But basically, this is supposed to help you, one, with a Session Zero, including character creation. It's system agnostic, so you can just kind of apply this to anything, and it's supposed to help you get a pretty good backstory with it. So I'm going to say a bunch of things as we're kind of going through this, and then we're going to go through like a mock character and world creation process for game system X, which we'll figure out as we go along.
this is a
Fifth
game
edition.
that you found at PAX Unplugged, right?
Yes, and their whole booth was set up like 80s style basement. It was fucking phenomenal. I'll see if I can find the picture for it and put it on Instagram. But it was cool.
Cool.
Yeah, and I got to do a demo with them as well of the system, and I thought that this would be awesome to kind of present to our audience. So, to start off, we're just going to kind of talk about the system itself. It works based off of a story path with like 3 specific questions that kind of round out the basis of your character. Which I think it's fair to say that most characters will have at least some kind of relation to these questions. It is, where did you come from?
Where did you go? Don't you dare. That song is one of the reasons I don't go by Joe. Cotton Eye Joe, Sloppy Joes, and Joe Dirt.
Dude, I love Sloppy Joe.
The holy trinity of why I don't go by Joe.
The blasphemous trio.
Okay,
So-
I'm sorry. First question.
Yeah. Where did you come from?
Where did
From whence?
you come from?
Then the next question, who was someone that had a monumental impact on your life?
My mom.
This could be positive or negative.
My dad.
Wow, who was something? That's what
big
I wrote.
impact.
Who was something that? Who was someone?
Wait. What are these characters for?
Yes.
So we are going to basically pretend that we are coming to the table. We haven't even chosen a game system yet. We're just trying to...
We're doing characters
It's session
before the
0.
system.
That's
characters
That'd be kinda
before
sick.
the system.
Okay.
we
all
should
right.
do that one day, like, actually.
That's what we're
I
doing.
guess we're doing it right now.
if we want, we can ground it into a system like Pathfinder, probably, because I mean we all know and love Pathfinder, and Pathfinder is the best of all game systems. But
It's alright.
Okay.
uh,
I like that.
I would
Misty
like to.
hates that.
I would like to hear the second question again before we make any
Okay.
decisions.
who was someone that had a monumental impact on your life?
Positive or negative.
Monumental impact on your life.
Wow, that is a very long question.
Yeah, I wrote, who big impact?
Plus or
Thank you.
minus?
That's what I need for my little pea brain.
If you
I
want
take notes
to
like that.
even pea-brain it more, you can just write down legacy, bond, and catalyst.
Cadillac.
Because the final question is, what was an event that set you on the path you still walk today? I.e., why are you adventuring?
What?
Catalyst.
No, what was the question?
Oh. Event walk.
Event walk, yeah.
What was the event
what
that
was
set you on
an
the
event
path that
that
you're
set
still
you-
walking today?
Yep.
Sorry.
Okay,
You're good.
I'm sorry. I didn't process that because
Wesley, you got it.
I started processing Damien,
No, I shouldn't- I
and then
shouldn't.
Wesley talked.
You're leading this.
But what
It's-
if I chime in?
I'll- I have so many things to throw at you. Please
I
Yeah,
don't.
will cry.
Okay, what was an event that set you on the path you still walk today?
Do you
What
want
did
to
you-
see what I read? What I wrote?
Yeah.
Because you guys are
What's it say?
fucking wild.
Don't put it on us. You wrote it down.
What was an event that set you on a path? Sorry. What was an event that set you on a path that set you on today?
No, it makes sense to me.
I don't know why that's so funny to me, but two, that doesn't make any sense.
Words have no meaning to me today. I don't think
Dude,
It
words
set
only
you
have the meanings you
on-
give them.
that's true.
Path you are on today. Got it. Thank you.
So that is going to be related to your character, but the nice thing about the Session Zero system is that they have sections for setting up the world and the mood and tone that you want to apply to your games. So we're going to just jump into part 1, the expectation, tone, and mood. So obviously it is important to set expectations at the table. I think one really good example that we've done on the podcast, well, on Patreon specifically, is Nova, when Wesley asked like what we wanted out of the game. That's kind of that is setting the expectation for the game. And they have a handy dandy little checklist here.
Whoa. Sick.
Ooh.
where it's kind of like a bubble in kind of a thing. I did not have the 4 sight. I only have 3 sight. So I did not print this off.
It's okay. Is it 1 to 4?
I'm sorry?
What?
Bubble.
Oh, the bubbles? No, it's yes, please, either way, or no thanks.
Okay.
1 to 3.
Is
And
it
it's,
the same for each question?
and it's the same for each
Okay.
question.
Cool.
So we could
Okay.
write down like A, B, C, and then
Easy as 1, 2,
tally
3.
them up.
Yeah, I think the best way to do this would be probably print it off for each player participating, and yourself as the GM. You should probably also write
Yes.
this in, have people fill it out.
You're a player too.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, and then talk about the results. And the big thing for this is to talk with other people. And there's actually a section here that I'm just going to read off. Conflicting expectations that are left hidden can lead to unnecessary friction and disappointment. So we've built some tools to help you navigate them. Because if you expect something out of a game and everybody else wants something different, that can mean that one or more people aren't getting what they're wanting out of the game. So talking about that would be good to come up with some kind of a compromise for everybody. So they're broken out into, the expectation checklist is broken out into roleplay, mechanics, flavor, gameplay, and out of game.
Umami.
Ooh, out of game. That's cool.
And each has about 5 different questions in there. So we're going to go ahead and talk through those.
All right.
So we're more interested in the rules than roleplay.
A is I agree. B is whatever, and C is nah, I'm good.
Yeah, C is no thanks.
I'm really bad at tests.
How many questions are there?
I think that's crazy.
25.
We'll save that for rambling. I think everyone should be good at tests. That doesn't make any sense. It's
That
literally just because I am.
Does
It's
not
crazy
make
to
any
me
sense.
in my brain that people aren't good test takers.
Yeah, like just remember.
Dude, on God, bro.
What was the first question?
Never mind.
We're more interested in the rules than the roleplay.
Dude, me and my homies hate role playing. And we hate rejects. Do I have a product for you?
Where are you?
Next question is, we mostly talk in the third person, such as my character does X.
Oh.
Out of character talk happens as needed.
I feel like that's a weird question.
It is.
Because if I say no, is that me saying I think it happens more than needed?
No, I think so. It's like your expectations, right? So like,
Oh,
if you're
right,
talking
right.
out of character, like we be yapping, that question is saying like,
Are you okay with that?
are you okay with that?
Yeah.
Because some people want to come to the table and just role
immersed.
play and be immersed. So I think that's where that's getting at.
Thank you.
Actually, that would be an out of game.
Oh.
So this
thought
one would
that
be
this
more
was-
referring to when I say, my guy, he basically tells the shopkeeper what happened at the castle. Something like that. You're not in character speaking.
Interesting. Okay. So ignore
Yes.
what I said.
No, but same in the idea of that, like, it still answered my question, even though it wasn't exactly the same.
I'm gonna
Cool.
pass this test. Just do all C. You'll get enough.
No, if it's on a Scantron, you just make a smiley face.
There you go. Works every time.
It works every time.
We are happy knowing things our characters do not. I think this one is a very, very important question because there's often times where I would like to share things about my character to the players at the table, not necessarily to the characters.
I think
at the table.
Mm-hmm.
I hope we have like a longer conversation about that at some point in the future. I think, yeah, whatever. I would ramble if I said it now. No pun intended.
Do it.
Dude, I'm so over everyone trying to keep secrets from everyone else at the table
Yes.
out of
Yeah.
character. Like, shut up, they're your friends, bro. You're literally sitting around playing pretend. Just tell them the cool thing. Especially, oh my god, especially if you need, like,
Right? You
if
don't
I
know,
need,
but
if
I'm
I
a
need
princess.
you to do something
Yeah.
to spark my tragic backstory, why would I not tell you that? Am I supposed to just sit here and pray you hit the magic sequence for me to, like, start monologuing? No, bro. Like,
Also,
Right.
just try not. Do your best not to metagame. Like that's all you have to do.
that's all you have to do,
is just
dude.
not be an asshole and be like, oh my gosh, in character, being like, remember how your mom died? in that tragic fire, and that sparked your interest in the adventuring life somehow. I don't know.
I think I don't know. I think the meta is too secretive. I think we need a new patch. My personal opinion.
Yeah. Fair. The next question. We're ready for great roleplay to outweigh a die roll anytime.
I could rant about that too, dude. I love TCRPGs. That's my shit, dude. I should start a podcast with my friends. Call it the Low Play Rejects.
Now we're moving into mechanics. Rules light sounds right. We love a cozy game.
She's thinking, listeners. She hates cozy.
I hate how much
No.
like
I wish
middle
those
of the
weren't
line I
paired
am.
together.
That's what I was thinking.
Because
is-
cozy game doesn't necessarily mean rules light.
That's a
Yeah.
good point.
Rules light doesn't
That
mean
is a good
cozy.
point.
That is a very good
Yeah.
point because we could play Pathfinder and make it super
I
crunchy.
think that's a good point too.
and still be cozy.
Also, in the opposite, I think when a lot of people think of cozy games, they do assume it's going to be rules light.
Yeah.
So that's probably why it's paired together here. But I do
Like
agree.
Stew Pot was pretty rules light. Didn't feel very cozy.
Yeah.
I don't know, man.
Yeah.
That festival was pretty
Some
sick.
cozy, but not all cozy.
Yeah.
Well, and there's plenty of games that we've played that are rules light that
But-
weren't cozy.
Mhm.
Like 3-2-1 action.
Mhm.
That one didn't feel like a cozy game.
Not
to
cozy
me.
at all. It was
That's all.
action.
And
True.
but that was like pretty rules light.
Probably one of the
so-
most rules light things that we
Well,
have.
I think it's
Yeah.
like all squares are rectangles.
Yeah.
I
Rectangles
think
and
that's what it is,
squares.
right? Because I think every cozy, at least, and I'm not saying all of them, but all the cozy games that I've played have been rules light.
Mhm.
That doesn't necessarily mean all rules light games are cozy,
Yeah.
right? I think, but I still agree. I think that shouldn't be tied together in this question.
Next,
I
we'll
think
pick.
you're wrong
Oh, okay.
about the rectangles and squares example.
Why?
But because we just talked about a rules light game that was not cozy at all.
That's what I'm saying.
All cozy
All
games
I'm saying,
are rules
you
light.
would need to provide an example of a cozy game that is not rules light.
But we
to say I'm
we
wrong.
have
What?
trains.
No,
You weren't-
that's a rules light game that is not cozy.
Right.
I want to see the opposite.
a cozy game
That
that's
is not rules
heavy.
Yeah.
But to be honest though, we have not played enough cozy games
Mhm.
to like make that assumption.
Yeah.
Dude, we could do a hardcore mode, Cottages and Cerberus, where you keep track of your calories.
Whoa.
And every single like piece of food that you glean from the environment. Dude, we could make it real rules heavy.
That makes
And
me sad.
you have to
No,
have all the
that sounds
ingredients
kinda
to
sick.
make that cake, or
And you
it's
can
not
track-
going to come out right.
You can track your macros.
Okay, that sounds like we're creating a new game.
Yeah,
Yes.
bodybuilders and bewilderment.
Which this Session Zero system does get into.
Oh, okay, cool.
Okay.
So we will be making that game.
Here we go.
We'll pick and choose the rules we want to use from the game.
Don't look.
So okay,
Pop off.
this is a very important question.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
I just want to make the disclaimer that like we as a podcast try desperately hard not to do that
Yes.
because
Yes.
we're trying to show you rules as written,
Thank you
how the
for-
game should be played.
Yeah.
So anything that we say for like this session 0 is like our own opinions on this like pretend game that we're going to play
Yeah.
that doesn't actually exist. We try really hard to make sure that we do play rules as written
Mhm.
for you guys so that you can then go play these games and pick and choose the rules you want to do preemptively if that helps you. I feel like that should be said because
No.
we don't be doing that
That's
on
a
the
good point.
podcast.
Yeah.
Yep.
We're just as happy using mechanics as we are role playing.
We're gonna have a conversation about every
I'm
single
just,
one of
I'm
these.
just thinking about that one. I don't know. I think I'm in the middle. That's all.
Same Z's.
Stop.
B's get degrees.
Listeners, Missy's cheating.
Yeah, I'm bad at test taking, okay?
Next one is we play by the book just as the game rules were made.
as the lore keepers intended.
And then for those who enjoy Math Finder, the crunchier the better. We can handle a lot of math.
This is a tough one because I like the crunch, but I like less crunch for my table. Like if I was playing a solo TTRPG, I would
Yeah.
want it to be
Because too much
Crunchy.
crunch slows things down.
Well, my thing is like I like crunch that feels me like I don't want it to be crunch bloat, right? Like when
Yes.
you're doing math just for the sake of doing math, you're like, okay, bro. But when it's like, I guess I like it. Like I don't know.
I go
man.
back to fucking school if I wanted to do math. The whole time.
What? You don't want to play a calculus wizard?
I would actually.
Dude,
love
I
that.
like, and that's the thing. I wouldn't mind like making
Dude.
the numbers make sense. But when it's like
Brain blast geometry wizard. Okay.
I hate geometry.
His whole
Trigonometry
like, shtick is
wizard.
like,
I love trig.
It's like Doctor Strange.
yeah.
I guess a geometry wizard could do cool stuff.
Right?
I just hate it.
triangles.
I'm like, playing in harmonies. Blah, blah, blah.
Well,
If this, then blah.
If you're
No.
at a right angle, then you
If
can
I wanted
cast.
to have so many
That actually
fucking
would be
words
kind
in
of
math,
sick. I'm not gonna.
why are there so many words in geometry?
Welcome to Whine About
I
It.
picked B. True. I picked B for that one too, listeners. If you're wondering,
Uh,
dude, I should
Um,
share my answers with the listeners.
we will probably.
Yeah, probably.
No, I should do it as we go.
All right, flavor. We're
Tastes
just
good.
here to
Flavor
cause
three.
pandemonium.
I'm so sorry. Can you say that again?
So we're in the flavor section.
Uh-huh.
We're just
Umami.
here to cause pandemonium.
Oh,
Pandemonium is such a good word.
it is a good word.
My glasses keep hitting the microphone because I don't normally wear them.
Yeah.
Yeah, you didn't.
Your hair looks nice.
Thank you. I'm sorry I was rude earlier.
All right, actions have very few consequences here. It's all for fun. We'd like to see our characters win more than they lose.
Wow, I have some very strong opinions about this section.
Yeah, me too.
Fuck that.
This is a B list. No B's in this section.
Nope.
Only ants.
It's a dangerous world, and the risk of failure is high.
That particular question, I feel like you need to know what you're playing in order to answer that.
I also
Yeah.
think, yeah.
Because if
Not
we're,
me.
if-
I love failing.
Not
Well-
me. I hate failing.
No, because here's the thing. Like, I like failing, right? But there's a huge difference between playing, like, Pathfinder and being like, oh, yeah, like, failing could be a thing. And playing Call of Cthulhu, where you're like, I will fail. We probably will all die. That's just inevitable. I feel like that's a very different,
That is. I agree.
like, amount of failure, even if you're playing Pathfinder and you've all decided it's going to be a failure-heavy game. You know what I mean?
That is fair. I think for the purposes of us filling out this checklist, let's just say that we're playing Pathfinder.
My issue with failures in like D&D or Pathfinder is that when, and this isn't like, how do I say this, dude? Some guy's gonna type on Discord, not my table. Yeah, bro, I know. But like, I feel like when you have like, and this is just me projecting. Like this is like from tables like long ago. But like when you say like, yeah, I'm down to fail, it just becomes fuck the players over simulator, and that shit gets old to me
That
really
does suck.
quick. Right, like, or when you just fail for nothing, like to the point where it's like, even the DM fucked himself like
Right.
for failing you. You know what I mean?
Roll to open the door. Oh, crap. well, I
Dude,
guess you're not going into
yeah,
Stroud's
wrap it
castle.
up. Yeah, exactly. Like,
Try, the one down the street.
so that shit to me gets old really, really quick. But when it's like cool stuff, like you try out for the football team and you don't make it this time. Unlucky next time. You know what I mean? But
Yeah.
when it's like,
That's a villain origin story.
yeah, exactly. But when it's just like you're going upstairs and you broke your foot, you have to wait a month before you can go adventuring.
It do be like that
Dude, it
sometimes,
do.
though.
Hey, you fell out of that window fair and square.
Yeah, true. No, that's it. I just wanted to get that out.
Well, I think that's a good piece about this checklist is that if you have caveats like that, I think that now is kind of the time to discuss.
To talk
these
to your
things.
dentist.
Talk to your dentist, yeah.
If you have cavities like that, I've changed my answer after cavitying. I have cavities.
Wait, was that number 15?
You're
No.
numbering them?
Yes.
Yeah.
You aren't?
No, I'm just going in
You're a
order.
Dude,
freak.
what?
We're not gonna discuss. Is he gonna pull them out of a hat? We're not gonna discuss them in order. Listeners, he emoted at me.
I emoted so hard I almost lost my headphones.
Next is we'll explore the character's backstory in depth as we go.
Yes.
Now, I think that this is an important one to mention because I think one big stipulation of this is the length of game that
Yes.
you're planning on doing.
100%.
Longer it is, the more character backstory that you can go through. If you're doing a 5-session arc, then I'm sorry, but probably not a whole lot that we'll be able to get to. But if the expectation is there, then the GM, what I would do in this scenario is probably scrap whatever story I had and just pull straight from people's backstories.
I had no B's in this section.
That was my first B in this section.
Do you guys ever just get Duel of the Fates stuck in your head?
Yes.
All
No.
the time.
No, I can't remember it.
Yeah, I can't not.
It's
I don't know why.
Hum it right now.
ba ba
That wasn't humming.
ba ba ba.
Oh, okay, yeah. I do.
Yeah, that one.
Sometimes I just yell it at Joseph across the house.
And I yell back.
Yeah, and that's how you know you have a
You
good
yell at
marriage.
your wife.
But that's the only time we ever yell at each other.
Oh.
I had a dream that you yelled at me.
Oh no.
Fight.
Wow.
Did he
Damien.
apologize in real life?
No, I didn't tell him about it.
Oh.
Anyway, that's what I'm thinking about right now instead of taking this test.
Number 16.
Jump cut to when she was like, "I'm not a good test taker."
Now we are going into the gameplay section. We want to create a deeply immersive environment.
That's it. Listeners, Joseph put B.
Yeah,
I know because he shrugged.
I shrugged real hard.
It was a pretty strong
I
shrug.
like almost clapped my ears. I shrugged so high.
Immersive environment.
Like
Is that like my living room with vines in it, or is that like?
Dude.
Are you
See-
cheating?
Yeah, I'm
Okay.
cheating. I know.
What are you
I'm
doing?
looking at everybody's
Dude,
way of
Why,
taking.
why are you
these-
looking at our answers?
Yeah, I
No,
just stole his
because-
separating the sections.
Well, so Joseph has numbered each one and separated the sections. I have just separated the sections.
And I put the
Damien
A into
has
one
separated
column,
each
B
one
into another,
and
C into
sometimes
another.
numbered.
Well, it's section 1, question A, B, C, D, E. Section 2, question A, B, C,
Okay.
D, E.
So his is extra super.
Wesley's is
Stop!
Wesley's
just
is
two
just the
columns.
letters.
I ran out of space, so I had to start another column.
Yeah.
Oh
And
yeah.
then-
Okay. Which one did you start over on?
Start over.
It-
Like what number?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Exactly.
I don't
you need to
know.
number them.
Why?
Because
then-
if we're
When
like,
because when we go back through it, and he goes, "Okay, what did you ask for the like?" When
Yeah,
we
hey,
go back
let-
in order, I'll have them in order.
well, let's start with the game section.
Anyway.
The gameplay section.
Why?
Anyway, Stevie's
Because we
is
bounce around.
similar to Joseph's in that each are numbered and there's sections, but
Boom.
she has multiple columns going on and Joseph just has one. I just think it's funny
I
that
just think it's funny.
we're all
different.
very different. And that's why not Damien. That's why Wesley and Joseph are arguing.
I would like to take a moment just to be loud. Thank you.
Oh, nice.
Ooh, dude, can I have a blue M&M?
Yeah,
Thank you.
not that one. I'm just fucking with you. No, you touched it.
You did
Yeah,
this to
you told me to
yourself.
put it back. I put it back.
I don't care.
Uh,
Stop.
Speaking of which, we don't mind having player conflict at the table.
I'm sorry we're like this.
Conflict makes
This
good
one-
Okay.
storytelling.
It does. This one needs a caveat too. Don't kill your friends for no reason.
I'm
If
sorry.
you do that, you're kind of a dickhead.
Yeah, there needs to be a reason.
Yeah.
I have
You hate
question. A is like yes, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
please.
Oh, thank God. I thought I'd been doing it wrong this whole time. Because we took a little break, so then I like forgot, and then I was like, shit.
Why? How many questions ago was that?
No, just now.
Okay.
Because we took a break to argue.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and get M&Ms.
We want to use our imaginations and theater of the mind.
Listeners, Missy put a C for that one.
Me personally, I think a healthy blend of theater of the mind with some kind of physical representations are useful, especially when you're playing a game like Dungeons & Dragons or Pathfinder, where combat is its own separate game that requires
Yep.
5-foot squares.
100%.
Even if those enemies and monsters are represented by small Reese's
Legos.
peanut butter cups.
Hershey's Kisses.
Oh, we should bring that back.
That was a good time.
I think we said this last time.
Yeah, I
But
love
we
Reese's.
should bring that back.
I love Reese's. It's like one of the few good implementations of chocolate. I'll die on that hill.
A few interruptions while we're playing are not a big deal.
Listeners, Wesley put A for that one.
I put C.
You?
No.
The shade.
That was a loaded.
He said,
You.
Soldier Boy, tell him.
I'm gonna have to go start another column soon.
We don't expect for everyone to know all the rules. I think that is a big one to bring up because a lot of things that I see online are people complaining about their players not knowing all of the rules
Which
for whatever class or something that they're doing.
I think is crazy because I think you can circumvent that by just saying if you don't know the rules, don't pull up to play.
Be like, you should know the rules for your character.
Yeah.
Sure,
Like,
but
you
I
don't
I
need
mean,
to know the fly speed
I
if
think
you
it's
don't
fine
have
if
a
you
fly
don't.
speed.
Like, I think a lot of people, I think most players, maybe this is crazy. I think most players, most of the time, don't know all the rules, even regarding their class. But if you're playing at a table where you're like, hey, we're Newman, and I expect you to know everything about your class, you should say that before you start the game.
Yep.
Because, like,
Yeah.
your boy's not going to, and I'm not going to do that unless that's the expectation, right?
Which I think is why that's a really good thing to have in this session 0 system.
We are in the final section now, out of game. We want a game we can pick up now and then.
What does that mean? Like, I can stop playing it for 7 months and just pick it up again?
Yeah. Or like
That doesn't sound like us at all.
you can't like you know that life is going to get in the way, so
It doesn't have to be
it's
like a
not going to
strict
be every single week. It's maybe
schedule.
going to be like once a month.
popcorn campaigning.
Getting together is also about catching up, not just playing.
That's a good one, I think.
I do think that's
I think if
super
you posted
important.
that, I think if you posted that on Twitter, you would get very different answers. Sorry, X.
No.
No. It's Twitter and you twat on it.
I've never heard that before, but I'm stealing that. I'm gonna make that my bio at work.
We only play when everyone can make it.
Ooh. Ooh. That's so spicy.
That is spicy.
We're looking for a long-standing game to commit to, i.e. Kingmaker. We'll get back to it at some day.
It's been so long.
I think this is another one where like you guys as a table need to determine
Renee Descartes.
what
You
Grenade?
You said I think.
Therefore, I am.
Oh,
Sorry.
okay.
I thought you said
That's
grenade a
actually
car.
I thought we were talking
Anyway.
about determinism. I was like, that's not Descartes.
What?
Sorry, I'm so sorry.
This is something that you need to determine with your table beforehand. Like, what does long-standing mean to you? Because for some people, it's like, yeah, this whole year is dedicated to that campaign. For some people, it's the next 6 months. Some people, it's like, for the next 20 years, we're going to play this and only this. So I think that's something that you should determine filling out this checklist with your table.
And the final question. We'll be plotting and planning a lot between sessions. That's an interesting one because it's one
It
that
is.
we don't really do a lot of in
No,
most of our games.
we put it on the GM for our games. Like,
Well, even-
you plan as much as you need to. We'll be here.
Yeah, well, even like
Yeah.
character planning and plotting, it only like exclusively happens
At the
in
table.
character typically. Like,
I
which
don't
probably
know.
would be helpful if it didn't, because like
Sometimes I plot with Damien.
sometimes it's like, well, yeah, we do talk about stuff sometimes, but it's also like sometimes you can show up and like I think Damien's before has said like it'd be sick to know what you guys like we're thinking of doing next session. You know what I mean? Because we truly stop playing and then it's like la 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 la, and then
Dude, that's part of the reason I like cliffhangers so much. Because I can be like, what do? All right, the bad guy sees you, and next week we'll see you. Because then I
You
know
don't
what
have to
you guys
wonder
are
what their
doing.
intentions
yeah.
are. Yeah.
At least for the first like 30 seconds of the next
Yeah.
game.
Gambling.
And that is the expectations checklist.
Dude.
Yippee! I like it.
think I liked every single question on there.
Except that one.
Except
All
for
A's, yeah.
So at this point then is where we would like share the expectations. If you wanted, you could do it like anonymously and then hand in checklists and then just talk about it real quick.
But we're going to yap.
We're going to yap about it a bit.
Only yap about it.
Though do keep in mind that we do have a podcast, so let's not yap forever. But
Isn't that like the point of our podcast?
Yeah, I was
You know, that's
confused
a
why
good-
we were yapping so much throughout the process because I thought we were gonna go through and yap with the answers.
No.
No,
I
Okay.
think we just can't shut up. Is really what.
this is why we have a podcast because we just can't shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
And now you have to listen to us.
all right, so how we're going to
I'm pretty quiet.
run this? If you were doing this at your table, I would have probably almost an entire session together just talking about the expectations before even talking about characters. Of course, adjusting based off of how quote-unquote efficiently you get through the checklist. But for our purposes, we're just going to kind of speed run it a little bit more.
Lightning round. C.
When we go through these, do we want to touch on each question, or do we want to just touch on the ones that we have like half party split on? Because we've talked a lot about our opinions already.
True.
I think we speed round it. I think we
think
do
we-
a little bit of everyone.
Okay. Yeah.
So starting off, we're more interested in rules than roleplay. I really don't care.
B. I need them both.
Yeah. Mainly roleplay though.
C.
I said C.
Okay.
Okay, so a little bit more interest in the roleplay aspect of it. Awesome. And with that, then we would have a discussion about how we would want to implement it. Is everyone fine with having a more of a lean towards roleplay than rules?
Yeah.
Always.
So then we would move on to the next one. We mostly talk in the third person, my character. I said B. I really don't care either way, as long as you're having fun.
I also
B.
said B.
I put A. I like talking in the third person because if my character's doing something that I wouldn't, I can step outside.
See, I put C. I think because that's a goal that I have had, is to try and do things more in the first person so that I'm more immersed and more involved myself, like trying to pay attention better.
Yeah.
I think I guess now based on everyone's answers, I'm confused about the question. I think because I too prefer speaking in the first person, but I don't care if other people don't do that, which is why I put B. 'Cause
Yeah.
it's like
Okay. Yeah.
I was thinking like as a table, I don't care either way.
Yeah. I would be a B then.
Yeah,
Yeah.
same.
B's knees.
I would be a B.
Okay. Yeah, I think that one might be more for some of the tables that think that it will break immersion.
Yeah, because I know
Yeah.
some people are really, really against other people not speaking in character.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, out of character talk happens as needed. I said A to this one,
A.
and my opinion on this is I would much rather you say, yeah, we tell the guard all about what happened at the castle, except for that one part where we stole a bunch of shit. I think that is a lot easier to do, especially if you're not really feeling role-play-y in that particular aspect, you know? And it helps keep the game moving.
Yeah, I also, as a low intelligence individual myself, being able to say I give a dissertation on light and its relativity to gravity is a lot better than me trying to actually do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We are happy knowing things our characters do not.
A.
A.
Yeah,
Yeah. Please.
big A.
Like, please, dear
A.
God, please. It's.
Yeah.
I love hearing all of the cool things that
All
everybody
the-
comes up with. And it makes me so sad.
Small things.
And sometimes it's fun to hear what the bad guys are doing, even if the characters aren't there to witness it.
Yeah,
Mhm.
Be
that's
like,
something
ooh,
that.
they are conniving.
Yeah.
Damien does a good job of.
Yeah, that's something
Mhm.
that Damien does a lot in our Kingmaker campaign. He'll like give us like a little
It's like a cutscene.
Yeah, it's like a
somewhere else.
cutscene, and it'll be like something that's going on somewhere that we don't even really have context of yet. But then it gets us hyped because we're like, oh crap, like that bad guy is really, really bad. We didn't even know, so I like it.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I stole one of your character's bodies in a cutscene like that.
Yeah,
you
you
did.
did.
Yep.
As real.
Rip the
We have
goat.
no idea yet,
Well, the body's gone, but that's about it.
but we don't know the rest.
Yeah.
Let's see. Then we're ready for great role play to outweigh a die roll at any time. I understand why some people would say no to this one, but I do think that there's oft times where role play is just superior.
I said A.
Hey,
I put B because
you're just gonna leave it.
He's like, eh.
That's it. Because I do think there are times where you don't want to act it all out, and so the die roll can be superior. Where it's like, I say something smart, it is 16 smart.
I didn't
Right.
think about that.
Yeah, I guess I was thinking like role playing really well and then rolling low blows is why
Yes.
I put A.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I do agree.
And I think that's a good conversation to have because some systems really promote like say everything that you're doing and then roll. Some systems are like start what you're doing, roll, and then tell me how it went.
Yeah, Shadows of Asarin is like has a really good call out for that thing in particular.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of like the example they give is an investigation scene. I'm sure I already told you this, you and the listeners.
Go ahead.
But it's like if you're like searching for clues in a room and you're like describing how you're searching and you describe your character like looking where the clue was hidden, then you shouldn't have to roll for that.
Yeah.
Which again, if the bridge is to my right, why the fuck? Like, dude, I see it. Like, do I see it? Like, yeah. If I lift the rug and the trapdoor is under the rug, how did I miss it?
The door's open, but you rolled a nat 1,
Yeah,
so you
exactly.
think it's locked.
Yeah.
Going into mechanics, rules light sounds right. We love a cozy game. We already talked a bit about this one being a little bit more confusing. I am fine with more focusing on the rules light aspect of it, because we're going to be getting into mood and tone later, which I think will more or better encapsulate the cozy aspect.
Okay.
I said B.
Yeah.
Yeah, I put B.
It just depends on the system.
I put C. I prefer more rules than not.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like structure.
That's like my preference, typically. I won't like piss and shit myself if it's rules light, obviously, because we play rules light games. But I prefer rules heavy. That's why I lift.
But yeah, if you've got too much structure, sometimes it slows down the storytelling, and that's where.
I guess I feel like with a rules heavy system, I'm free to just disregard what I don't like.
Okay.
But with the rules light system, I feel like there's a lot of times where it's like, because it's easy to ignore what I don't like. It's hard to make up rules.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which
follow
is perfect because the next question will pick and choose the rules we want to use from the game.
Hey,
A.
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 ain't no way I'm using juice, bruh.
Genuinely. Like,
We are a Kool-Aid only table.
Mm-hmm. Oh, dude, I go. Yeah, Kool-Aid's pretty good.
We're just as happy using mechanics as we are role playing. I, for this one, put A, because I'm perfectly fine with throwing in
Yeah,
mechanics.
I
and
put
role-playing.
B. This is why I thought of what you were talking
Yeah.
about earlier.
I
where
put B on this
Yeah.
too. Yeah.
yeah, this is like the. Oh, I don't feel
wanna
like
do it.
saying
I'm 16
everything
smart.
I
That's
do.
yeah.
Yeah.
I put C.
She hates mechanics. I forgot what the question was for a second.
What did you say?
I said A on this one. I am honestly just as happy using mechanics as role playing.
Do you want to elaborate on your C or no? I guess it's.
I
She
guess
likes
I just don't
roleplay.
have like a lot to elaborate
Yeah.
on. I prefer the like storytelling aspect and the roleplay aspect of gaming. And I think sometimes, like we've talked about before, like the mechanics can get in the way of that.
Mhm.
And I think especially if it's a game where mechanics are heavy and they don't necessarily add to the story that you're trying to tell, like then I don't want them.
Yeah, that makes sense.
We play by the book just as the game rules were made. I said C on this one because there's no way in hell that I'm going to be tracking weight for people because
True.
that's kind of dumb.
Wait, you don't
Although
track arrows?
I will say that Starfinder does have a really interesting system to do weight.
Okay. What is
where
it?
they just have bulk. So you have a total number of bulk. So instead of trying to get down the minutia of how much something weighs, it'll just be all like, yeah, that gun, it's probably like 1 bulk. Your character can hold 10 unless they have a backpack, in which case they can hold 14. Oh, you have something that like is negligible? Guess what? It's fucking negligible. We're not counting the arrows
Bulkless.
on that. And then they have that intermediary where it's a light bulk, and if you have 10 of those, it's worth 1 bulk, and it just makes the math a lot easier than having to like number crunch all the way down some long ledger.
That feels like you could have just had regular numbers, though.
I don't know. I like the visual of bulk
I think-
better because there are so many things, like as a normal actual human, that like I have to ask Joseph for help with, not because it's heavy, but because I'm short, and so that's
unwieldy.
really it's bulky for me to try and like
Chairs
carry.
are so hard to carry sometimes.
And so yeah, I like the visual of
Or like a
bulk.
mattress.
Yeah, a
Right.
mattress will
Like
humble
it doesn't
anyone.
matter how strong you
Yeah.
are. You want a second person while you're moving
Like
a mattress.
really
Like,
compact,
you-
heavy things, I can lift those.
Same.
Boxes that are bigger than I want them to be, but are lighter, those are so hard to deal with.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think the problem with weight in a lot of games is that it breaks down to like decimal points essentially. And I think
Yes.
once you start breaking shit down to decimal points, you're trying too hard. Like
Yes.
no one wants to do that math.
Whole
right?
numbers only.
Whole number. Blah, blah, what she said.
We love integers.
Yeah, no
It.
floats around here.
But yeah, so that was my opinion on the we play by the book just as the game rules were made.
Yeah,
What was that, number 9?
it's this one.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah,
Thanks, Wesley.
yeah, it's number 9.
I put B for this one.
B.
Yeah, I just feel like I don't know. I don't. It goes back to that whole like I don't want to have to play rules that I don't want to play, and B just felt good because
Yeah.
like there are plenty of rules. Like if you're gonna fully not follow any of the rules that were written, why are you playing that game?
Valid.
Like play a different game. D&D.
Dude, I play 5e every day.
I just ignore all the rules and
And
call
and
it
I
work.
call it.
And I homebrew an entire system.
Oh, actually, homebrew the classes. Yeah, everything.
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 And then
I actually wrote.
Actually, yeah, I made this book, right? It's not D&D. It's E&E.
Elements and elevators.
I would play the shit out of
Escalators
that
and
game.
eels, bro.
I would play that one too. The crunchier the better. We handle a lot of math. I said yes. Or we can handle a lot of math.
I said B.
I said
Personally,
B.
I like it for our table. B.
yeah, I put B because I hate it, and
I
I would
think-
put C if it was only about me.
Yeah, B,
Yeah.
because I don't like it, but we can handle it.
Yeah, that's how I feel too. Yeah.
I know that if I have to do math, I can just look at Joseph or Damien, and they'll do the math for me.
That
Life
is
hack.
a good point to bring up. When you are filling this out, I would recommend that you fill it out of your preferences. This is especially true when you are interacting with a table that you're maybe not super familiar with.
But-
Because it will be bringing up these kinds of conversations where you find out, yes, the table does not necessarily like math. So is there a way that we can make it so everybody is happy? And we would probably default to a less crunchy thing. But it's an important discussion to have. I have a lot of noses here, so...
I would, at least for this question, I haven't taken my glasses off. I would. They kept hitting the mic. For questions like this, I would argue that you have to reference your table if you already know your table, because for this, like, I love crunchy crunch rules exclusively if everyone else at the table also loves that. And so if literally anyone doesn't want to do that, then it's a hard C, right? Because if you don't want to do that, it will slow it down greatly. If you want to do that, it won't slow it down at all. And like, sure, if I'm at a table and if I'm at a table and I don't know anyone, I would just say that when the question came up, because like that isn't exclusively my answer is based on everyone else's question. Because I'm not playing a solo RPG.
and that's fair. But again, if for whatever reason Misty really wants to do a crunchy system, it would be good to know the actual preferences of yourself, and then we would discuss it here. But other noses.
Yeah, I think there is a difference between like saying these are my preferences while I'm doing a solo RPG, and these are my preferences while I'm at a table doing a collaborative RPG. Because like when I do solo RPGs, I don't mind writing, journaling, like they ask you to. If I had to take that amount of notes, thank you, Stevie, while doing like our normal games, I would go insane. Stevie takes great notes. That's why I bring her up.
Yeah.
But
Otherwise, I won't remember.
yeah, so I do think there is like a difference, but it is still like, what are your preferences in a collaborative game is what we're trying to get at.
Yeah. Sorry, you had nose.
No, you had it first.
Yep,
I
she
don't
dropped
remember.
it.
Oh.
I
Told
took
you.
I dropped it and I
okay.
lost
I
it.
thought you dropped it because you were
Well,
like,
it's
I'm
just like-
next.
It is
What it is.
because we're going to talk about the questions. We're not just going to go through the list and be like, okay, this is what we're doing. Then, like, and treat it like numbers because we're people and we have mouths and we can talk. And that's the whole point of this.
Someone typed that
So-
in quotes.
It will have this discussion either way. And then we could say, I like, and people are going to say what we're saying. I like crunchy numbers. But, like, I know that not everyone here does. And that would really slow down the game. So that's why I chose this. And I know that we're supposed to be talking about ourselves, but that is myself with the group that I play with.
Yeah.
Boom.
That,
Okay.
I think that sums up what I was trying to say pretty well.
Then,
Yeah,
then
you might
maybe
have
as
said
you're
the same
filling it
exact
out,
thing.
just, I don't know, making a note that
I
one
didn't have
needs
time.
further.
I'll fight you.
Okay, real quick. I also think, though, that, like, if you were to do this anonymously, you
Oh.
can't have that. So, again, this is something that you should talk through before filling that out so that if you're having this be an anonymous part, kind of like what we did with Call of Cthulhu, then everybody's on the same page. That you're all talking about the table as a whole, or you're talking about how you play collaboratively, and like just make that known, and then I think you're fine.
Cool. Flavor, we're just here to cause pandemonium. I like this question a lot, actually, because honestly, there's sometimes where just being a murder hobo would be great. You know? I don't want to sit there and solve puzzles. I don't want to
Bunkers.
figure out why. Oh, yeah, Bunkers is a perfect example of that. Just like, I'm just here to roll numbers, get big numbers, and then go pew, pew, pew.
I have a C on this.
Yeah, I
Me
put
too.
C.
I have a C.
I put
But-
C.
Yeah, I think you should just be playing a war game at that point.
Oh, I also put C on here. It's like,
That's
I,
not.
I like the question in its substance. Me personally, especially
It is a
this-
good question. I
Yes.
It is. It's a very good
It's
question.
probably my favorite question.
It's part of the reason I don't like D&D is because a lot of times it becomes just a drawn-out combat for more than half of the session, and I'm like, dude, if I wanted to wargame, I would wargame.
That's something I'm and the listeners will never like get to see the fruit of this. I want to try really. No, I'm sorry. I would have
I
stopped.
tried to wait until a pause and then you were talking and then I
speak,
started.
I speak very sporadically. Sorry.
No, you were in the middle of talking.
No, it's my fault,
I should
dude.
have just waited. I'm sorry.
You're both at fault.
I really want to try to have like, I guess I tried to also kind of do it with the last Nova combat for this last one too. I just don't want combat to take too long. Essentially, is what I'm trying to say. And I also don't want it to be there unless it kind of matters.
Yes.
The occasional you got run on by some wolves, sure, but like far and few between.
Yeah,
right?
like if the big bad takes an entire session, I'm
Sure.
cool with that. Like, it's like those episodes of anime, right?
Mhm.
Where if
Yeah,
it
you
takes,
got the season finale and you're like, this makes sense.
yeah, right.
Yeah.
Even break it into 2 parts. Like,
Mhm.
I'm down.
The dragon.
But like,
We're in Thriller Bark, and yet
Oh
we're
my
apparently still fighting the same guy.
Dude.
And yet, okay, we have to keep on
Is this
adding
One
more
Piece?
powers.
The pacing on Thriller Bark was ass, bro.
Is this One Piece?
Yeah.
Yeah.
it's-
Okay.
I hated Thriller Bark. Nothing happened there. Missy, you have a nose?
I do want to also throw in there though, like we're focusing on combat, but like this is also an important question for just like role playing in general. There are plenty of tables who enjoy the like chaos of looting and pillaging whenever they're in town, and they will do like more of a slapstick type of group of people, and like that's not, I personally don't vibe with that. So that's something that this question also gets towards, is like chaos in general. Like you're just here to like be wild. Cool, that's awesome, but that definitely needs to be like known, because if we were a table that I was new to and we did this and everybody else was like, yeah, I'm just here for chaos, then I would probably bow out, and not to be like weird and mean about it, but just because like that's not my vibe.
Yeah.
So I think this is like one of the most important questions on this thing.
Actions have very few consequences here. It's all for fun. I
have a
C.
nose.
I have a C. You have a nose.
Wesley has a nose, but it was hidden.
Yeah, I was hidden. Sorry. I just want to say, like, we are answering this like in a vacuum. A lot of players will answer, like, if you do use this system going forward, like forever, you would revert back to this every time, and then your answers could change every time.
Yeah.
Right.
If we are playing bunkers, I'm sorry, but cause pandemonium is going to be an A.
Oh, yeah,
we're absolutely
100%.
going to be doing that.
I
yeah,
killed them the first game.
Yeah,
The first
that
session.
shit was pretty
That
cool.
was a
button,
good time.
though.
My boys. Will you repeat the question?
Yes. Actions have very few consequences here. It's all for fun. I had a C
C.
I also
C.
had a C.
because I
Do you not
like.
know where you are?
Wesley's lost because he didn't
Fuck!
number anything.
I think I'm right here.
Oh, what column are
dude,
we
are
in?
you?
Is it the third column with 4 answers in it? I don't know.
Will you tell me the number of the question?
It's 11.
Yeah.
I am right here.
Well, we just finished 11. We're on 12 now.
I'm here.
Okay, I don't know. Count.
5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12.
You were wrong both times.
Oh, so we're at the top of
Sorry, I
second
shouldn't.
column.
He had 11.
I got
He didn't
C.
even have it in tens. That's 11. But then the last one's 4. Which is
Well, we ran out of questions.
the next one is
C.
Well, we'll have pictures of our note taking.
Of just Wesley's note
Dude,
taking because
it
it's
makes
terrible.
Now I know.
Okay.
Did we all say
Well,
C?
I think we all
Yes.
said C, and that makes a lot of sense to me because I want my character to fail because that's character development. People.
Yeah, right?
Yeah,
Consequences make things interesting.
Yeah, I do have a caveat on that, but I already said it an hour ago.
We'd like to see our characters win more than they lose. I mean, I'm pretty sure that's probably true for everybody, but again, similar
No.
to the above one,
No, I put C.
C.
I like the failure.
I put A.
Wow.
I think it's so easy to make a character fail. I think
That's
it's
fair.
really hard to set up your players for a really triumphant win. And I
Okay.
also think that I think that never fucking happens, right?
Okay.
Like when truly in the last like 2 to 3 years, when was the last character you had that like had a good triumphant win?
I
Like-
killed my mom as Isla.
Okay, yeah, that is a good example. That's the only one I
But
can
there
think
was
of.
a lot of work up to it.
And that's the only one I can think of for anyone recently.
Hey, Misty killed her mom, too.
Well,
I don't
yes,
know if
that
I
was
call-
not.
I don't know if I call that
We
a
kill
dumb
a
shit.
lot of moms.
First of all,
Matricide.
First of all,
The
my character
game.
Era killed her toxic mother. My angel of a mother
Yes.
will not be slandered on this podcast. Anyway, I don't count that as a triumph though.
Yeah,
like
I don't think
I
that's-
was really sad about that.
Okay.
My
Like-
point is like it's easy to take a character that's like, I don't know, trying to become king of the pirates and then kill him. Right? You know what's hard? Making him the king of the pirates. Right? Like it's so
Very long process.
It's a very long process, and
Lot
like
of failure.
you want them to have failure, sure, but like when you're and again, like I'm projecting, but when your failure is like death, then you never have to follow through on their goals, which I
Okay.
think is always easier than having to follow through on their goals, right? Like if someone says I want to be the college Skyrim wizard guy, the headmaster at
Yeah.
The
Mage
Archmage?
Yeah, thank you. The headmaster at Mage University is what I was gonna say.
College of Winterhold.
I was so confused. College Skyrim wizard guy.
That's hard as a DM to be like, fuck, dude, I guess I gotta make him headmaster eventually. But it's easy to go, you're dead. Like, you know what I mean? And so it's like, failures along the way are cool, but like, I don't see people win a lot because I think we live in a failure storytelling meta right now.
Yeah,
That's
I
just
totally
my
agree.
opinion.
That's fair. Yeah.
So do you like want people to win?
Yeah, I want people to win. Because that island moment was pretty cool, in my opinion.
So, like, I put B. I originally put C, but, well, originally I put B, then I put C. Now I'm
Then you
putting
went
B
back.
again. This is why I'm bad at tests. But, like, because I agree with you wholeheartedly, but I also have been at tables where all we do is win, and that gets really
Yeah.
Yeah,
boring.
no matter what. Also valid. You're right.
Really, really
I think I am
boring.
a B as well.
So I feel like I want failures to mean something, and I want winning to be difficult, but then I want winning to be super satisfying.
Mm-hmm.
And I want there to be a chance to win in this particular game, which is Pathfinder, that we are creating in this moment.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
If it's Call of Cthulhu, I would like to lose.
Mm-hmm.
That would make me happy.
That's valid.
So I'm a B. The end.
Yeah, that's a good point because I really like the Infinity War Marvel movie because the bad guy
Yeah.
wins.
Mhm.
Everybody
Thanos was
else
right.
loses. Thanos was, it was a little bit justified. I mean, sure, the whole genocide.
It's a
of
little misguided, but
everyone
he's
very-
got the spirit.
Yeah, yeah.
He looked
But
out
it is-
across a grateful universe.
It is basically
Sure
the
did.
question of asking, do you want it to end on Infinity War or do you want to end on Endgame? Is what that one is making.
Did
me
half
think
the
now.
bugs die?
Yes.
Yeah.
Half of all life.
Oh my god, did half the rhinos die? So they're
Yes.
just gone?
Yes.
Oh, they're already dying. Sorry.
Yes,
That was
everything going
upsetting.
extinct
I don't know.
went
Like, I
halfway
feel like I'm
more
gonna tear
extinct.
up. So let's talk about something else, even though I brought
It's
it
a
up.
dangerous world and the risk of failure is high. I am all on board with this one.
Yes. A.
Yeah, I put A. I think this is the one I caveated on, where it's like, don't just kill your players for no reason.
Yeah.
I put
but-
B.
I also put B.
Yeah, I
Sorry,
think this
I'm
goes
sorry,
along
you
with
were
the
all
like
talking.
consequences thing.
Yeah.
I want there to be consequences. If I punch a guard in the face, I want all of his guard buddies to stab me.
Okay.
Yeah, or at least punch me back.
Or if you
right?
cook a chicken.
Sure.
Yeah.
Dude, that drives me crazy because
Oh, we're
that's
not
a
talking
good,
about the
that's a
same
good
game.
point. Sorry?
I'm
Huh?
talking about Legend of Zelda. You guys are not.
I'm talking about Skyrim.
I was talking about
Okay.
Legend of
Same,
Zelda.
same.
Okay, cool.
But it's the same idea, right? Like
Or
you
RuneScape.
hit a chicken, you should not get attacked by the entire village. You should maybe get attacked by the person who owns the chicken, and maybe they're just like, "Wow, you gonna pay for that?" Because like, usually, you don't come to blows unless that's like your family pet. So, I don't know where I was going with this.
Consequences.
So
That's a
consequences.
good point. I
Yeah.
do think consequences should make sense
Yes.
and be expected, but that's like obviously a per table basis, right? Some people do just want to hit the chicken and get away with it.
Yeah.
Will you read the question again? Because
It's a dangerous world and the risk of failure is high.
yeah, okay. So the reason I have a B with that is because sorry, I'm trying to like I have things to say that I don't want to be like taken as mean.
Okay.
Speak your heart.
So-
we know
Say
you're
it.
not. We know you're
Well,
not.
no,
mean.
it's not mean.
Yeah.
So
Wow.
a good example of this for me is Fallout. Fallout is a dangerous world. Like it's not like you're expected to probably die. That's like the whole thing, right? But with the Winter of Adam DLC that we did for the Patreon, they added in like this winter element of like
A nuclear
if you're too
winter.
cold and things like that. For me, that was too much because it was just like, man, this world is already hard and now it's even harder. And I love the like idea behind that, but playing it out made me sad because I was like, everything is hard.
What was it?
And so
I'm cold and hungry.
yeah. Whereas before I was just hungry. That's still awful. So yeah, for me, I want the consequences. I want the world to be difficult to navigate, but I don't want it to be so difficult that like it makes me not want to play. Because then I should just be playing reality.
Just go outside in the winter type deal.
Yeah.
Do you think, and feel free to tell me if I'm wrong, because I'm wrong a lot. Do you think you would feel better about, do you prefer like interpersonal difficulties, like enemies and or like other NPCs that like are more antagonistic against you, versus like Winter of Adam, I think, which is like just adding more mechanical difficulties, because it didn't really change, I feel like, the interactions with other characters or monsters at all. It just changed like your access to resources and gave you a new tracker, like a code tracker, right? But if instead it was like new factions with like different predispositions, I feel like that would maybe be more agreeable to some people, because it wouldn't give you more crunch to crunch, but it would still make the game kind of harder in a different way.
I think I
Renee
personally
Descartes.
would. I fucking hate it here. Goodness gracious. I think the sound of the added interpersonal difficulties sounds nice, but I don't know if we've played a game like that where like the add-on was specifically that. If we have, correct me.
I don't think we have either.
So I don't want to say yes because I don't know if
I'll mark
that
you
is
down as yes.
true. All that to
He's
say,
scribbling.
I love Fallout, so please don't take that as like Damien ruined the game for me. He did not.
Yeah, Winter ruined the game.
Well, it was still fun.
I love Winter.
And honestly, like there were parts of it that I thought were cool, but as like a whole, if it were me, I don't think I would want that. If I made all of the decisions for a table always, you know?
Yeah.
I think I agree in that way, because I don't like survival games that put so much on like, oh my gosh, you didn't drink enough water, you're gonna die. Like it's just like the minutia of like, I don't remember what the question was.
Unforgiving world.
It's a dangerous world and the risk of failure is high. I think another way to look at this, beyond just the like mechanical aspect of it, is do you want to play in Morkborg or do you want to play in the Forgotten Realms?
I think
That's a good
short
point.
term is okay,
I think
but long term, I don't like it.
I do think it depends on the game, because it's like whatever. Like I think it depends on the game.
I only like playing extreme or like very, 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 very difficult in video games, not in RPGs, because in RPGs I'm trying to role play.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to play very, very difficult, let's play Factorio.
No,
I think you're on.
You're onto something.
You're onto something there, because like
it takes away from
similarly,
it.
I wouldn't want to play a cozy game personally long term,
I played Animal
because
Crossing
it wouldn't
for a
be
long time.
hard enough.
Mm-hmm.
But do you play it like all day, every day,
No,
forever and ever and
I
ever?
haven't played it in months.
Exactly. Right. But whereas like with our pretend Pathfinder that we're creating, like I need that to be
Every
a
day,
balanced
yeah.
B.
Yeah.
Otherwise I am going to be upset that it's too hard, and then I'm going to be upset that it's too easy.
Also, it sucks when you're just like keep rolling. It's like it'd be like you keep rolling bad, but you're supposed to, and that doesn't feel good.
Yeah. Wait. That's true too. If dude, just fail me then, bro. Don't make me roll the dice. You know what I mean? Like, is the bridge there or not?
But also like
The bridge caught on fire.
with Call of Cthulhu, I feel like that's such a balanced game that even though it's hard and you're going to fail a lot, I could play that for a long time, because there are still moments of hope and like going after my goal. So I don't know. B.
We'll explore the character's backstory in depth as we go.
B.
B.
I am A on this one.
Hey, yeah.
B.
Okay. Yeah, I'm A because I like pulling from characters' backstories. There was one instance in which I was trying to play Fallout the TTRPG, and I had a group of not you guys over
Wow, he hates us.
to play it, and I had a whole game already like written up, but then someone's backstory said that they really wanted to have a motorcycle, and I was like, okay, done, and I scrapped that whole thing and we just ran with that.
I am B because if I write a backstory for a character and it literally never comes up, I don't care. Actually, there are some times where I would prefer it. Because there are some cases in which I guess there are two flavors of this, right? One is that, like, I think DMs should be talking to their players before they just mangle their backstory and, like, change, like, not necessarily change, but just, like, kind of fuck with it.
Yes, that needs to be a discussion.
And that is a discussion in the Session Zero system.
And that's a discussion in Call of Cthulhu, where they're like, hey, like, if you go crazy, I might change your backstory.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And additionally, like, there are times where it just feels, at least for me, there's been a couple of times where it just feels forced, dude. And it's like, I feel like sometimes people try to go for backstories so much that, like, we deviate, we lose the plot in each other in a bad way. Like, we'll be on this quest line, and then the way I see it is that you have your major quest line, and then you have the occasional blips of, like, character backstories or character quests, right? And sometimes we just never come back to the main plot because, like, I've had tables where it's like back-to-back character quests and they're trying to get everyone's backstory in there, like, back-to-back-to-back, and then it's like, what the fuck was I doing? Like, you know what I mean? It's like,
No, I do think that if you are gonna like introduce character
Anduin
quests, they
has to
should
die at some point.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
If you're gonna do character
Yeah.
backstory quests, I think you should probably space it out. Give each person like an arc. You know, Nico Robin arc at Ennie's Lobby, obviously,
Yeah.
and then
What?
a whole cake island.
What did you just say?
No is no. Hey,
You have nose.
it's One
I don't
Piece.
fucking remember. The nose thing works for me like 60% of the time, every time.
But I do think it's worth talking to your players at all because some players don't want it to come up. They just want it to be talking pieces around the campfire.
I also
it's-
think that sometimes, like, there's such a focus on revealing the backstory through roleplay instead of, like, just knowing each other's backstories inherently. Like, for example, right? Like, if you're starting a game and your party already knows each other, then, like, why wouldn't they know a good chunk of your backstory at that point?
Right. At some point, your brother would have come up, and so you're
Yep.
like, "Oh yeah, so tell me about your brother." Blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, unless
Like-
that's like your deep dark secret, and you're like purposefully keeping that. But like, if you guys like know each other, then just know each other. You know, like
What a crazy concept.
yeah. You have.
Yes.
Yeah. I think it was like, it's cool sometimes. I know what I'm thinking, I just don't know how to say it. And I knew how to say it 10 seconds ago.
I believe in you.
Damien exists.
Mhm.
I love you. I talk to you. Call of Cthulhu.
Call of
Hello.
Cthulhu.
It was cool. Yeah. Okay, I got it. It was cool in the dream sequence, knowing a little bit of everyone's backstory.
Yeah.
Me, Stevie, knowing, not my player, and that dream sequence that he did, and not because I knew a lot of Damien's character's backstory. I didn't know a lot of your guys's.
Mm-hmm.
So I was just like, what the fuck's happening there? Whose backstory is that? That's weird. But then, like, with Damien's, like, the trenches, I was like, ah, no.
Yeah.
So I was, like, stressed, and it adds, like, a nice element to it, because you get to look at the other players and you're like, oh my gosh. But then your players are like, or your characters are like, what? What the fuck is happening?
I'm not private.
And that's just really cool. But it doesn't have to be, like, I put B because it also, if something like that isn't included, it's fine. I don't care.
Yeah, because it's still fun to play, even if my backstory doesn't come up, and that's not necessarily everybody's opinion.
Yeah.
But like, I just like playing.
But
Yeah,
that was
no,
just, like,
same.
Just like playing.
a nice way to do it without it being, like, all about our backstories.
Yeah.
But, like, a nice little glimpse into it, and have us be, like, looking at the other characters like,
Yeah.
what was that about?
Mm-hmm.
All right, for real speed round this time.
Okay.
Oh yeah, we were supposed to be doing
Uh,
a speed
There's
round.
more to this.
We want to create a deeply immersive environment. I said yes.
Is this 15?
16.
This is 16.
I put B.
I put
I
A.
put
B.
B.
Yeah, I think that like if you can try
Mhm.
and make it a little
Mhm.
bit more immersive, that'd be cool. If you have characters have their own, or like NPCs have their own little arcs or their own little like motivations, I think that really helps enhance.
Yeah, I think it's nice when you talk about this because some people want to dress up as their character and show up to the table like wearing their witch hat and stuff. And some people want to roll up in PJs and sweats like I do.
Not me.
And what are you wearing right now? Let the listeners know.
A bard outfit. I have a harp on my hip. I
Ah.
have a feather in my hat. I have a tunic that
Listeners,
shows
he's
off.
wearing a hoodie
It's gray.
and
He's wearing
sweats
And a
he
cozy
wore
blanket.
Crocs today, even though it's like 0 degrees.
Okay, speed round. We're speed rounding this.
No, I agree, and I think also this is one of those questions that has a lot of nuance to it, right? Because the way you were talking about it with like NPC backstories and things like that, that was not even on my radar when I answered this question. I was specifically thinking about music and like ambiance, and for me, I put B because like I could take it or leave it. I usually enjoy it when it's there. Sometimes music is too much for me, but like I don't need it. But I didn't even think about
Plants.
the like what?
Like hanging plants
No.
in your room to make it look
Stop. I didn't even think about like the NPC nuance and like that type of adding immersion in. Sorry, I did not mean to be rude. You were just getting me off track.
like no,
already with
because
your
that's
plant
sorry, because
idea.
that's what I was thinking of. I was like, oh, like putting plants up in your room so it looks like a forest.
Adjusting the light settings for when
Yeah.
you're in a cave or something.
Getting a prisoner that occasionally screams.
Yeah.
Goodness gracious.
No, we just have that one track with the screams of damn children.
We don't mind having player conflict at the table. I said yes, however, I think we need to caveat it.
Yeah,
We're all friends here.
A with an asterisk.
We're all friends here. We aren't here to hurt one another, and you need to manage something else that's mentioned in the Session Zero system, character bleed. You need to be able to manage character bleed a little bit, and if it starts to become too much, then we definitely
Fight in real life.
take a break.
Yeah, I agree. A.
Yeah, I'm also of the
I
opinion that if you're gonna PvP someone, you should talk about it before it happens.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My opinion. A as well. A with an asterisk.
We want to use our imaginations and theater of the mind. I said B. I think I already talked a bit about this one, though.
Yeah, B. I do think there's a place for theater of the mind. I don't think you need to have like minis on the table for every scene, but I do like having minis in combat when you're
Yeah.
measuring things. Like
It's
if
cool looking
there's
train.
if there's a like 30-foot move speed, you probably need a map out.
Yeah, I originally put C because I have a really hard time with theater of the mind. It's not that I don't like it, it's just that like it's difficult for me. However, I changed it to B because I agree. Like I don't need, if we're having like a shopping day, I don't need to like
See the
move my
shops.
mini across the shopping thing.
I
If-
totally just printed a marketplace on my 3D printer.
If you want to, that's cool. But I don't need it. However, I do need to see combat. Otherwise, I don't know what's happening and
What is
I'm
it?
going to be mad.
Yeah, I was the opposite. I originally put A, and I switched to B because of the combat piece. I think in a lot of games I would prefer to have it tactile, at least for the combat, and everything else I don't care. Typically.
Same. I agree with everything. B.
A few interruptions while we're playing, not a big deal. I said C on this one. Frankly, I think that having shorter term interruptions aren't necessarily bad, but if it's any longer than a few seconds, one minor quip here and there, it starts to detract from the game.
I put A.
Yeah, I put A.
I put B.
I also put B.
Well, look at us.
I wasn't sure whether to put A or B.
I put A, and this kind of goes into another question. I'm just like, when I go to play TCRPGs, a lot of the time, I'm also just there to hang out. So if we start talking
Yeah.
about like IRL stuff for a while and then get back to the game, I'm totally fine with that personally.
Yeah. I think this is another one of those very, very important questions
Mm-hmm.
to like talk through.
Yeah, and I do think that there's a distinct difference between having a few interruptions and having a few breaks. having
Yes.
a break,
Valid,
absolutely.
yeah.
But I think interruptions are a little bit different.
Yeah.
Okay.
We don't expect for everyone to know all the rules. For this one, I said B. I don't care. I'll know the rules for you.
What number is this? 20?
20. Yep.
Okay. Yeah, I put B too, because I think it's important that you know your own rules. But I think if you have that conversation, like you can offload some on your DM, and your DM can offload some on you. If you're the only person with a fly speed, maybe the DM's like, hey, I need you to know all the flying rules because you're the only one that's going to be using this. Like, it comes down to communication, like everything does. But I think at the end of the day, you need to know your rules.
So I put A because personally, I think that conversation is a great conversation to have. However, I will never, ever, ever be good at rules. So if my A is that, like, with the caveat that, like, if you don't know your rules or the rules of the game or whatever the, like, overarching table needs from each person, you should know how to look them up. Because, like, I will never be good at remembering rules. It's right on my character sheet sometimes, and I forget that it even exists. So, like, knowing how to look them up and being willing to look them up during game is, in my opinion, like, that's like what I can do most of the time. So
Yeah, I put A for the same reason. I think you put B. Is that, like, I feel like if I'm going to a table and someone doesn't know any of the rules at all, but they've made it clear that they don't know any of the rules at all, then I'm fine with that. Especially if they make their class known, because then anyone else can just be familiar. I think it's fine to not know anything as long as you let people know that you don't know anything. I think ideally everyone knows a decent bit, but if you have a character, if you're the only character with a fly speed and you know you're bad at memorizing rules, just let us know you have a fly speed, and then I'll know the rules. You know what I mean?
Okay, but then what if, like, the whole table doesn't want to learn the rules? Like, at that point,
Well, if that's a problem for me, I just won't play, or we'll just look it up, like, because we also know how to look it up. But,
yeah,
like,
that's a good point. Looking it up should not be, like, looked down upon, like, ever.
yeah. Because if the whole table doesn't want to learn the rules, but like I'm willing to, then I'll play, and usually, like, I think that would be fine.
I would actually argue so much that if you know how to look it up within a timely manner, that is knowing the rules.
Yeah.
You're telling me DMs don't have every rule memorized all the time?
Yeah, weirdly enough, no. The amount of times that I've had to ask you, Joseph, to look up
Yeah,
rules for
look
me.
up something while I'm doing this is totally fine. Like, that should
Honestly,
be,
it should just be the meta.
Yeah.
Like,
oh, you want to fly?
Honestly, we might have a unique perspective on this because our whole thing is trying new games. So, like, it would be wild if we knew all of the rules
true.
to every game, like, and remembered it enough to not have to reference a book. But I have a hard time wrapping my head around things. And I during the session, when I see things in motion happening, then I start to understand it.
Yes.
But I have trouble reading rules and being like, I know what that means. It can be the most simple thing, but until it's done like 3 times in front of me, I don't know what it is.
yeah.
Valid.
I know how to read.
We want a game we can pick up now and then. This one, I said no.
I put B.
Yeah, I put C.
See?
Yeah, I would like some semblance of structure, dependent on the style of game. Wesley has a game that is designed around the pickup now and then, which I think is really, really cool.
We'll see. I've only done it one time so far.
What,
But
That one
it-
time went pretty okay.
But it needs to be like
Brave.
established initially.
Oh, the question.
The question.
The answers.
Oh, brave. You write that down?
No.
See?
I put B. What did you put? Are you copying us?
I'm writing down everyone's answers.
Oh.
Okay.
Not
Misty.
like specifically.
I put C.
I also put C.
Okay.
What did you put?
B.
That's why you're the GOAT, bro.
Next one, getting together is also about catching up, not just playing. I said A.
A.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I said A.
Which is why I think having plenty of breaks is very important.
I think unless money is being exchanged, like if you are paying someone to be your GM,
Then you're just hanging out.
then you're hanging out,
Yeah.
right? Like if you're at a convention or something, yes, respect people's time, have a break instead of every 10
I
minutes.
will. I think we're probably about to say the same thing.
Okay, go for it.
Maybe. I would asterisk that with like make sure you can play. Like I think it's very easy, especially like depending, because some people like they meet up Saturday morning and they play all Saturday.
Yeah.
And you have plenty of time to bullshit in between. Some people meet up for like 4 hours, and
Yes.
then you bullshit for 4 hours, right? And so it's like, while I love yapping.
He does.
I also love playing the game. So like finding a balance of both, that is okay with your table. I think is really important, because there are some people that don't want to hang out and they just want to play the game, and they'll invite you to do face masks when they just want to catch up.
I want to caveat that and say it depends on the system. If we're playing 10 candles, I'm sorry, we're playing 10 candles.
That's a good point.
Well, yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
If the candles are lit, you only got so much time. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. I also think that that's a conversation that you should have it with your table, and that kind of goes back to the whole interruptions thing. Is like, are you cool with interruptions and like bullshitting and catching up in between beats, or are you showing up early to the session to hang out, then playing, and then maybe hanging out after, or playing first, hanging out after, or whatever combination of that. Because some people, myself as an example, have a hard time with going in and out of playing and not, and that's really fun for me because I like hanging out with you guys. But like, if in my ideal world, it would be sectioned more, so it was like, we hang out, then we play, then we hang out. Right? Like that's something that you have to talk through.
We only play when everyone can make it. I said B to this one. I think case by case basis.
Yeah, it depends on the system. Is this
Yeah.
23?
Yeah.
Yes.
And like a big thing too is like if it's obviously
I said
related
C.
to
I'm sorry.
Wesley's story arc, Wesley's gonna need to be there.
Yes.
And other people maybe not so much, but it's gonna kind of depend on where we're at, I think.
Did you get my seat?
Yeah, I think most games you should push ahead. Like, if someone's not going to be there, unfortunately, like, put their character in a coma or whatever, and you'll find them at the next.
Just put them in your
town,
bag.
right? So, like,
I think that gets hard when it's mid quest.
it
Yes.
does. It definitely does.
But I still just put them in the bag.
Yep.
I put C on this one. I just think that like the mid quest thing is really difficult,
I agree.
and if you're playing a game where like you're finishing up storylines at the end of each session, then like, yeah, for sure you can easily be like, oh yeah, they went somewhere
Fishing.
else for a minute.
They really gotta poop.
But if you end a quest line in the middle of a battle, or sorry, a session in the middle of a battle, like you can't just not have that person there, in my opinion. So that's, I don't know, that's a hard one.
No, I agree it's hard. I also put C. Because I think ideally, most of the time, you play anyway. Because I think it's so hard to get like a group of grown adults to sit down at the same time. And so I think for a lot of tables, if you don't push on, you end up just fizzling. But I do agree. Like if that happens on a day where you're like mid season finale, right? Honestly, like this is probably like a polarizing take. I would probably still do it the second time. Like maybe you can bump it one time, but if someone missed again, someone's just gonna get wiped from existence for a session and then magically plugged back in when they show up. Because like I would like to finish my mid-season finale. Right?
Even if you're mid-combat.
Even if you're
They
mid-combat.
get knocked unconscious and
Dude, anything,
you
dude.
put
A
them in
giant
the bag of holding.
time and space traveling worm comes up and eats them, and then miraculously poops them out at the start of the next session. Like,
2 left. We're looking for a long-standing game to commit to. I think this just depends on what you're looking for. It's definitely just how much time do you have,
Yep.
yeah, I put A.
B.
and the type of system.
I put B.
Cowards.
I put A on this one.
That's why you took goat.
Yeah, because
We
I
like to
think
put-
some
B.
systems
Coward.
and some groups are better at those long-standing campaigns. It just depends.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
like
love a
something's
slow
wrong with
burn.
the chickens.
Yeah.
Potato
long
RPG.
Oh, no, okay.
But like
Uh,
I just
personally, I feel like it's hard to like long ones are hard. Unless you're having like a good dynamic in the story shift.
Mm-hmm.
If the plan is like you're going to go kill the king, and that's like, you want that to be 20 years long.
That's a good point.
Cannot abide.
I think more, yeah. I mean, I was gonna say more people. I haven't done that many long campaigns, but like, I think long campaigns should definitely have arcs. It should not be one quest the entire time. I guess it's almost like a procedural show. You might have like a background longer arc, but you should still have other arcs.
Yeah, I agree.
Like One Piece.
Like One Piece.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
He still wants to become king of the pirates, but on each island
Yeah,
there
but
is its
Marineford
own,
went crazy.
Yeah,
exactly.
there's its own little story.
Yeah. And I don't like shorter ones as much because I get attached to my characters and I don't get to play them. For a
Yeah,
long
that
time.
shit blows. Rip Kari. No, not Kari. Rip Skara.
You would know if you played her longer, you know?
Yeah, literally. Yeah.
We'll be plotting and planning a lot between sessions. I said B. I really don't care if you want to like wait until you're at the table. That's fine. I just don't really have a preference on this.
I had C. I switched to B because I also don't care.
I put B because I love it when someone does like put in some time and they're like, look, I like drew up my character, or like I made them in Hero Forge or whatever, and we didn't take game time to do that. So I really appreciate it when someone does, but also I don't expect anyone.
Yeah, I think that's what I'm at. I think I'm kind of leaning towards A now because I think I would prefer if everyone did some planning outside of a character or outside of the table. But yeah, I never expect it, and so maybe you're like a B and a half.
Yeah.
Yeah, I put A. I personally think that, and I don't think that it needs to be like you need to write an entire novel about your character outside. If you want to, sick. But I think that it goes a long way if you're able to do that in some way. Like, I really like when I get to paint my mini outside of gameplay, because then I get to like think about like what they wear and what they've been up to and whatever. So I like doing that. I would like to start getting into maybe like journaling for my character, things like that. And I don't expect everybody to do the most, but I do think that it goes a long way. Just having even like conversations outside of gameplay with somebody else, I think counts towards that. So you can be like, oh, well, like I was thinking about maybe this. What do you think? But that's just me.
So that's the end of the checklist. And again, when we're doing this, we would then try and like solidify very specifically what we would want and try and come up with compromises through here. Specifically, they have a section in here that says always offer, never a demand.
That's a good one.
So this section says, in the very same vein as generous communication comes our belief that each collaborative storytelling game is an offer or an invitation to engage with what the group is building. Nobody should ever feel entitled to having a specific element included in the game. Always offer, be open to new ideas, and work with your fellow players to include as much as feels right to you.
Bars.
All right, next we're going to talk about mood and tone. So, mood being a general state of emotion or feeling, the prevailing atmosphere surrounding current circumstances, events, or affairs, the overall experience of external happenings. While tone is the attitude a player or the narrator expresses towards someone or something in particular, a specific emotion or impression perceived in the face of different situations or interactions. The way that I see this is that the mood would be the world that you were all in, whereas the tone would be like a specific encounter, a specific arc that we're going along. So they have a little section here, a little table for mood and tone.
Is mood like environment and tone is like relationships?
The way you read to me, I felt like tone was like the narrator.
So let me read some examples.
Oh, that would probably help, yeah.
So for mood, there's 3 different columns. Our world is, the vibe is, and people here can be. So our world is constant, unchanging, static. The vibe is validating and respectful. The people here can be cruel and uncaring. Those would be like some examples shaping the mood of the world, and I think that this can also be encapsulated by the difference between something like Morkborg and then something like Mall Kids. Meanwhile, tone has also 3 different sections here. This situation leaves us feeling, this place seems, and this person appears to be, so a lot more granular. So the situation leaves us feeling watchful of our backs. This place seems secret
I really thought
and
you were gonna say
charged with
sus.
energy. This person appears to be untrusting and suspicious. They do have some examples down here, so I will read off the mood and then the tone example. So for mood, our world is constant, unchanging, and static. Life goes on as it always has, and dedicated, hardworking folks carve out a place for themselves as they can. Though that may be enough for some, we find ourselves yearning for more. The party has decided it's time to go search the ruins of the old city, where few have walked for generations. That region has a lingering cloud surrounding it that leaves all who enter unsettled and mystified. Meanwhile, an example for tone would be the party faces an upcoming arena challenge to settle a debt that leaves them cautious and watchful of their backs. Rumor has it that some here want them to lose. The town seems on edge, unstable, and ready to explode with all that rides on this event. One party member is becoming more wary of the figure running things, who seems to be desperate for more time as the games approach. None of the other players seem to feel excited that anything is amiss. None of the other players seem to feel that anything is amiss. These next 3 days are going to be incredibly exciting. So that would be kind of the example, where this example and the tone could exist in the mood of this world that we've established.
So what that also sounds like to me is that you should be doing the tone thing every time the story arc changes. Whereas like mood wouldn't necessarily be something that you change unless maybe some big world event happened. Like you do dethrone the king. Does that change the mood?
Yeah, they have a section in here for checkpoints where you should always go back in and recheck in with everybody. I think that's also involving safety tools, which is also mentioned in here.
I love that.
But that is the mood and tone, kind of an example here. Me personally, I think that the mood and tone will be a little bit better done after creating characters. What do you all think? The game doesn't necessarily say that it has to be done in any specific order. It's just mentioning the mood and tone.
I pretty big disagree. I prefer to know the world that my character will be in before
Yes.
I make the character.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Because I don't want to make, like, Batman's cool because he's in Gotham, right? I don't want to put Batman in Willy Wonka's factory. You know what I mean?
I'm
Yeah.
sorry, I'm
Dude,
picturing
that's
it.
a great analogy. Yeah.
That
That's what
is-
I'm known for, dude. They call me
Right.
the analogy guy.
That is a good analogy, but if we were in, well, do you think that Batman was created first, or do you think Gotham was created first? Do you think that Batman was created and then had a terrible backstory, and then Gotham was built around that? Or do you think that Gotham was created and they tried to puzzle piece in a good character for Gotham?
I think in a collaborative story, you need to start with the world, because
It's hard to build a world
Misty
around.
could come with Batman and Wesley could come with Willy Wonka, right?
I also
And
think
it would be hard to make those two characters work together.
I also think a big difference for, like, writing a book versus playing TTRPGs is Batman is the main character. I'm not, right? And so it's like, I'm, like, in this example, 1 of 4. But the world is, like, we are all interacting in the same world. So, like, I can use that to fuel my character building. We can't all have 4 quarters of a main character influence the world all the time. I personally think it's easy to do it world first.
Yeah, and then if
Okay.
you have world first and I still come with a Batman and Wesley still comes with a Willy Wonka, there is at least a base level of understanding of like how that world's gonna go. So like, let's say it is really gritty and my Batman character makes a lot of sense, and Wesley's might not at face value, but Wesley's put a lot of thought into like why this character has become this like Willy Wonka-esque person, and like how that is breaking the norm for this world that we've created, but it's like thought through versus the other way around where it would just be like, well, now we have to figure out a setting where both make sense. If that, maybe, I don't know if that makes sense. It did to my brain, but
Yeah. This is probably just difference in philosophies around characters' backstory and how much importance they have on the game.
Mm-hmm.
I think you could probably go about this either way.
I agree.
yeah.
So what they're saying is to just do like a one-liner kind of a thing for the mood and tone. So we have a bunch of different options for our world is, the vibe is, people here can be. Do we want to look through the options listed, or do we want to just come up with our own?
I want to hear the options.
Yeah.
Our world is whimsical, light, bright, hopeful, optimistic, promising, constant, unchanging, static, strict, militant, rigid, wild, unbridled, unpredictable, boisterous, rowdy, indulgent, resplendent, decadent, gilded.
The last one was gonna say.
Yeah, I really like that last one.
Wow, that shit was crazy.
I will gild everything.
I will gild the lily.
Okay, so we're wanting a resplendent,
Why are you?
decadent,
What?
and gilded.
What does this mean?
Yeah, what does this mean?
So gilding the lily means like over describing something. It's like if you're giving like a massive monologue, you are gilding the lily, essentially.
Oh, okay, that makes sense.
So we're wanting to be
What did you think it
resplendent,
meant?
decadent, gilded.
I don't know. I think it's just the way you said it. that
Yeah,
made me
it
think
did
it was
sound
an
a little-
innuendo, and I
yeah.
was like, "Why are you like this?"
It's not an innuendo.
It's
The
not. I
tone.
looked it up. I'm incognito just in case. It's not.
This person appears to be making an innuendo.
Okay, so
I
resplendent,
would
decadent,
never.
gilded.
Yeah.
We're confirmed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Decadent.
Splendid.
So I'm seeing then like golden statues shining in equally golden light. Yeah.
And this is Pathfinder, so it's a fantasy, like beautiful city.
Fantasy gold.
Okay.
El Dorado.
Ooh, okay.
All right. Yeah.
Yeah, I guess El Dorado is the 20s of the olden times.
What?
She just loves the 20s.
I love the 20s. The 20s are
Everything's
Roar.
Art
Resplendent,
Deco.
decadent, and gilded. But like El Dorado is that just not in the 20s. I don't know when that idea came to be a thing,
I don't know.
or where it's supposed to be put in. But you,
I just remember I love
See,
that
that's
movie.
more of an innuendo than anything I
Yeah,
said.
I agree.
Thank you.
Okay. The vibe is tense and uncomfortable,
Like camping.
unsettled and mystifying, bored and drained, threatened and endangered, welcoming and at ease, validating and respectful, reverent and regal,
I like the threatened one.
threatened
I
and
think-
endangered.
Yeah, I think threatened next to our gilded world really like makes a good juxtaposition.
yeah,
I had the opposite thought.
Oh, okay.
I was thinking bored and drained. That we live so
Oh.
comfortably in the lap of luxury that we're like, it'd be pretty sick
Leaving.
leaving. Bloodshed.
Okay, but at that point, are we playing in that world?
I think it depends. I guess it depends how big the world is. Like, if we're just talking about like our cities, resplendent and gilded, then I guess we wouldn't be. But if that's like, if we're in heaven, right, and we're trying to like, I don't know, cause a ruckus for lack of a better term, we'd still be in heaven. We'd just be dickheads.
Well, if we look back at the example, right, it's the world is constant and unchanging, but they leave to go to the old city when that region is unsettled and mystified. So we don't necessarily have to have the vibe match specifically the world, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I like the board because it's like I've gotten used to such splendor and everything.
Splendor. Hardly know her.
I disagree. And here's why. We have never played in a world that feels luxurious.
Mm-hmm.
And I like the idea of having it be boring, but like personally I would like to play in a luxurious world because we've never done that before. And I don't want it to be off the bat something that we're no longer excited about.
Mm-hmm.
So if we look at like how long we were planning this campaign to be, I think it would be cool to maybe have that boredom be
Later. in the
eventual.
timeline. Yeah.
But right now I think it would be cool to have a different thing that we're going after so that we can continue to play in like
Wow.
a setting that we haven't really played in before.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So what is the vibe that you were thinking?
I kind of liked the threatened one. What was there was like the
Threatened and
second to
endangered?
last.
Resplendent.
Validating and respectful, welcoming and at ease, threatened and endangered, poured and drained, unsettled and mystifying, tense and uncomfortable, reverent and regal.
Tense and uncomfortable,
Like
I think was
feeling.
one that I was thinking about,
That
where
would be
it's
good.
like
Like wearing a uniform.
yeah,
Yeah.
Like
'Cause,
everyone has to be smiling.
Yeah,
Otherwise,
because like it's luxurious, but also like it's hard to move around in.
Can't put
and,
your
like,
feet up.
Yeah.
Okay.
and then if we like fixed that, then we could get to a point where we're like,
Bored.
man, this is boring, let's try something else.
And then we go to hell.
I love Has Been Hotel.
Yeah.
So tense and uncomfortable.
Yeah.
I'm down with that.
Okay.
I've been camping before.
The people here can be cruel and uncaring, wary and worn down, tight-lipped and secretive, dedicated and hardworking, boastful and loud, thoughtful and generous, trustworthy and reliable.
I think my favorite is tight-lipped and secretive.
That's what I was gonna say. You
Yep.
stole it.
Yeah, I like that one. I also like boastful and loud.
That was my second pick. Was
but I
boastful,
think my favorite is
tight-lipped and secretive.
You all stole it from me.
This is sounding then like it is some kind of a,
Dystopian.
On the
this-
surface,
yeah.
resplendent and luxurious.
but there's
Very
There's
Hunger
a lot.
Games,
Just
capital
very
city.
Political intrigue.
yes.
I was
Okay.
thinking Republic City, like Avatar.
Ooh.
mm.
I wasn't thinking of anything.
There's no word.
Staring
Bossing
into the void.
say.
Ooh,
dude.
yeah, Bossing Say is another good. Ooh.
Yeah, they got a lot of dirt.
Now let's go ahead and talk about the tone. So, this situation leaves us feeling as if it's all on the line now, worried if we'll make it out, watchful of our backs, desperate for any action, safe and protected by others, optimistic and full of hope, fully confident in our abilities.
Yeah, this doesn't make sense
Watchful?
with our world, but one day, God, I want to feel optimistic and
Right?
full of hope. That never happens. Oh man, one day,
Wait, but what do you want your character to feel?
one day, dude, I want to be like, yeah, everything's coming up, Kari. You know what I mean?
Well,
Yeah.
we could start out feeling like that, and then our world can come crashing
Yeah,
down
true,
around
true.
us.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Dude, let's just go gambling.
And then we're watchful and whatever.
Yeah,
the
I was
rest of
thinking
that
the
part was.
watchful and whatever
Yeah.
goes with it.
yeah, I think the
Watchful of our backs.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I hate that phrasing, but yeah, watchful. Like you just
Better
say
watch
it,
your
bro.
butt, Ed. Okay.
What is that
It's
from?
from Good Burger. You guys need to just watch Good Burger.
I do.
'cause
What is it?
Welcome to Good Burger, home of the Good Burger. May I
Can
take your order?
I thought he says, "Can I take your order?"
It might be can. I'm programmed to say may.
He's the one that's like, "How does $5 sound?" or something, and then he's like, "I don't like."
It's funny. It's like funny skits.
It's
Okay.
just really dumb humor, and I love it.
Is it YouTube, Netflix?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
I have no idea.
Nickelodeon? I
Yeah.
don't know.
It's really old.
So we're watchful of our backs.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. This place seems unstable and ready to explode.
Yes.
Unchanged by passing ages. Tainted by something most foul.
Oh.
Unique
It's a crazy
and
chicken.
free from influence. Impenetrable and guarded. Sacred and charged with energy. Like nothing has left a mark.
Ooh.
That's really cool.
That one's really
Yeah, that one.
interesting.
Yeah.
I take back my explosion one.
Art is an explosion.
Then we have this person appears to be
The goat.
untrusting and suspicious, desperate for more time, cold, unfeeling, and critical, sly and prone to trouble, generous and self-sacrificing, always in control at all times, magnanimous and powerful.
I don't know why, but I like the one that's desperate for more time.
I like that one too. I think that to me was close second to Code and Critical. I think was my pick.
What are we picking this for? I'm sorry.
I don't know.
This is for
person.
the tone.
Right, but what was the like overarching question?
This
This
person,
person
is.
seems
Seems.
But which person?
Yeah, what?
this.
Yeah, I'm kind of.
Just a person.
Yeah, this
Me?
one's a little bit confusing to me, if I'm
I,
being
I,
100% honest.
I think that one would come up like per significant NPC. I don't know if you would need one like
Yeah.
right at
Tone
the
is
start.
more situational and can highlight the stakes of a specific moment. So this is
Yeah.
probably one where we would want to do the mood of the world, and then we would want to do the tone for a situation.
Yeah.
maybe.
I think a tone for the start of an arc, kind of like we talked about earlier, is really good. I think that question in particular that you just read is good for like if a significant NPC comes up and you want him to describe him as any of those things.
Yeah. So do we want like a specific NPC? Like I
Let's
don't know,
say
the
this is
ruler
our-
of the
That's how I was
The
imagining
governor,
it.
yeah.
Was the ruler of Resplendent Town.
Mm.
Yeah. Who might be our BB EG?
Yeah, it might be our.
Beg.
Yeah.
I don't know, always in control at all times sounds very fitting.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I like.
Okay.
What did you like better?
I like the desperate for, because that way that puts a clock on things.
Yeah.
Mm.
I'm not a fan of that one because I think it makes it sound more militant and less resplendent to me
Yeah.
personally. Like,
okay.
Well,
Yeah.
it just gives me the feeling that like it's all a facade. That one does. Like underneath,
Bork.
it's not good.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if there was any that like truly resonated with me. There was a couple that I liked. That's my story.
If we went with the more time thing, taking it from like the 20s, like maybe the king or the ruler or whatever knows that this is going to come crashing down, and so he's trying to make sure that it, like he can like prolong this luxury as long as possible.
Oh, like he knows that it's not sustainable at this
Yeah.
point.
Like when you like
And
the
that-
bonfire in Dark Souls.
Yeah, or like an oracle told him that like any day now.
At some
It's-
point.
That would be so unsettling.
Right?
One of these
Yeah.
days, you're cooked.
I don't
Yeah.
have a timeline, you know. Answer my riddles, and then I'll give you a riddle in return.
So that could maybe be a way to
Yeah.
work it in, and maybe like until that happened, he was always in control at all times, and like that's how things have been like.
Pog.
Yeah,
Yeah, we'll say desperate for more time then.
Sorry, I was just very passionate.
no, I
about that one.
liked that you were excited
like
about
it.
it. So
Mhm.
I've not been super passionate about any of these, but I was like, I like it. Thank you.
Thank you for sharing your passion with us. Worm.
That's mean.
No, I meant like WYRM.
Well, then pronounce it like that.
Worm.
Worm.
desperate or desperate?
Desperate.
Okay, cool.
Desperate.
I spelled it right.
Desperate.
Desperate.
So, just for how we would probably continue to use this in game, they do have a section for players for game masters. So for players, use these individually to help drive character interaction, decide the moods and tones your character observes in different situations, places, people they encounter along the way. When a moment of change or personal growth occurs, use this tool to show the character development. And then allow them to pick up on the moods and tones other characters and NPCs may perceive. So a lot of people may see it as resplendent, but then, the old hermit who lives outside of the city is all like, nah, it's all shit.
That shit dumb. And I'm old.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then, inversely for game masters, right, using the tone and moods to try and help shape NPCs' views of things, or to telegraph changes in the moods and tones can help kind of change things. Like when you're walking through the resplendent city and then you go down an alley and suddenly you're seeing muck and slime.
Ew.
And you're like,
the goop.
this is not
Resplendent.
It's not resplendent at all. The next section that they have here talks about house rules. I'm going to just briefly go over this because I think we all kind of understand this one.
No.
So they have 3 different types of house rules. There is an open rule, a modified rule, and a closed rule. So I will start with what an open rule is. It is something that exists outside of the game. The bottle caps that I give you guys for inspiration in Pathfinder, where you can expend it to roll with advantage, that would be an example of an open rule. It does not exist in the book. A modified rule would be a slight alteration to an existing rule. An example of this would be to... damn it, I'm trying to think of a modified rule that we have.
Like critting
homebrew equipment.
I think critting outside of combat. A lot of tables do that, but that's not actually in the book. You can't crit outside of combat.
Yeah, that would be a good example of that one. And then a closed rule, weight. I don't use weight. So it's a rule that exists, but we're not using it.
But no, it doesn't.
We ignore it.
And I think talking about this ahead of the game, important.
Yeah, I think... Yeah, never mind. I was just literally going to echo what you said. And I guess I did still, but yeah, important.
And then they have some system agnostic examples on here of some of these, such as a crit is a crit. On a critical success where the highest number is shown, that attempt automatically succeeds. So talking about that modified rule there.
Crit happens.
We don't do that here. If an official rule is not to your liking and your table plays without it, consider it struck from the rules and enjoy its refreshing absence. Easy. No roll needed. Once per session, a player or the GM can call out "no roll needed," and whoever is role-playing and prompting that exclamation can automatically succeed on their attempt. I have done that one a few times, where if you guys say the right things, no roll needed, you're good.
I don't think it needs to be a once per session thing if people are smart.
I think that one, because it gives it to the players as well. I can see why they telling your players that they could only evoke it for themselves once per session, because then otherwise you have players that would just go crazy, right?
Yeah.
But I think from
I
the
don't
DM,
know, man. I mean, he said hot dogs, and that's enough for me.
I love hot dogs. You know what I mean? Yeah, come on in.
Yeah.
Come kill the king. I don't give a shit. As long as I got relish on that shit. I love relish.
Next section here is about safety tools. Hey.
Yippee!
So, they mentioned that safety tools have been in the TTRPG space for quite a while, and they just reference ones that exist. The TTRPG Safety Toolkit, co-created by Kiana Shaw and Lauren Bryant Monk. The X card by John Stravro. God damn it, can you say that one?
John.
Stavropoulos.
Yes. And then the open door policy does not have a credit associated to that one. But we've talked a bit about those
Corporate
in
America.
the past.
That's who you can.
The one that I think we use the most often is the stoplight kind of a method of red are topics that you do not want discussed whatsoever. Yellow are topics that you're fine with them being in existence, but maybe no details on them. And then green is A-OK by me. And then it goes into the checkpoints there. So just whenever makes sense, we recommend using these as a mechanism to pause and see how everyone is doing. They can be regular occurrences done at the end of each session, or they can be handled as needed, which I think is very, very good. Character conflict versus player conflict.
We're fighting in game. We're fighting in real life. Put them up.
Yes, this goes into character bleed. So when a player feels their character's negative or harmful emotions as their own, too much bleed has happened. So if you are doing that, if you do find that as happening, start trying to do a little bit more of a distinction between on-table and off-table comments. So here's an example of something. I'm happy to leave battle planning on the table, but I think I want to be careful when it comes to character-to-character conflict. I'd rather have those kinds of conversations off the table for now. So more or less, you're kind of, are you comfortable with, the GM would then respond, are you comfortable with me narrating the kind of conflicts that may come up in shorter summaries rather than playing them out? I mean, that's a perfect kind of a discussion along those character conflicts. And then there is an aftercare area in here, a debrief phase to break the spell of roleplay and return from the liminal space of the imagination back to reality. Adding a debrief phase can be incredibly grounding for the party. So, some things that they recommend for that one are favorite moments, casual table talk, and one-on-one. If there's a player or GM that need to have a conversation there privately. That's pretty much the safety tools. After this, we'll jump into the story path and the fragment guide, where we are going to be able to use these beautifully art-having cards. These cards are just gorgeous, but they are going to help us answer those 3 questions that we talked about at the very, very beginning.
Who framed Roger Rabbit?
Where did they come from? Who was an impactful person in their life thus far? And what was an event that set them forward on their journey? And when we do that, we'll try and go through grounding in this regal, resplendent world with a possibly mad ruler. Or
a desperate ruler. A dad ruler. Desperate and mad.
But yeah, that is where we're going to leave it on this session. We've been yapping a whole lot, so thank you for hanging in there and getting a little bit more of an idea on the headspaces behind each of us. And you may be thinking, like, wow, they're all so different. How do they get along?
That's
don't.
Exactly
why.
Oh.
We live in constant conflict.
CC, closed captioning provided by.
Yeah, actually, right after this, we're about to just
Fight.
We're gonna fight.
Yeah.
I'm gonna beat Wesley up once more.
Mm-hmm. It happens a lot. Please send help.
Yeah. You guys don't know this.
He's blinking twice.
What?
We're
Goodbye.
done.
Oh, never mind.
Misty saying something.
I just wanted to, I don't know if we said this at the beginning, but the game itself, the Session Zero system, I guess, it says that it takes anywhere from 30 minutes to 2+ hours. No. I hear you laughing. We can't shut up. I would like to highlight that it says 2+ hours.
I was about to say.
30
It's a
minutes,
lot of
I would
hours.
imagine, is if you're using this as a way to do your solo RPG setup. I don't see a table ever, even one that doesn't talk as much as we do, getting through all of this in 30 minutes. I feel like the 2-hour mark probably makes a lot of sense for most tables, but we can't shut up. So keep that in mind. That's why you're getting lots of us talking.
I don't know, man. I feel like there are some, not that it's a competition. I feel like some tables could do it pretty quick, because there are some tables where the players are minimally involved with the world building, and so when it comes to the mood and the tones, they might not care to do it at all. They might just be like, just not this one. You know what I mean? We deliberate on a lot of points. I think other tables don't as much. I think there are tables that don't as much. Not every other table doesn't. But I could see a table going through this in less than 45 minutes. me personally. But that's just because I come from tables that collaborate less, and so I think a table like that would blow through this. I don't think that would be Pog because I love this stuff. I have a podcast. Check it out.
Podcast.
Yeah, I think it's definitely a bell curve on how
Yeah.
much time you put forth into this and the benefit that you get.
Yeah, absolutely.
Just know that we'll be on the right side of said bell curve.
Yeah, Roleplay Rejects, wherever you listen to podcasts. I guess you don't need that because you're listening.
Sorry, I just understood what that whole phrase meant. I know what a bell curve was. I know what we are. I didn't know what that meant when you put that all together. And then she said we're on the right side. I was like, because we take forever.
Yes.
We're an outlier.
Carly.
Deuces. I
Bye.
guess.
You smell bad.
You
You
smell
smell like
bad.
shit.
Bye. Thanks.
Session 0 system. More like you
No.
smell bad system. Got him.
I thanks.
My
Yeah.
ears
Thanks.
hurt.
Too bad.
Why are you